So in doing so, I wanted to see certain things. What I saw was exactly what I thought I saw. You know, that's what I wanted to find out. I wanted to see if my eyes from Saturday night were the same as what they were and look at it more analytically. So I went back and watched all of the plays, all the first half, the second half, and everything. And it angered me more. The bottom line is, for all the reality of all the stuff that, you know, I'm kind of going through here, and I'm trying to kind of figure out the words, and I should have the words ready, but I've been doing yesterday, because I'm a little under the weather. Yesterday, I did some stuff with CBS and CBS Sports Radio, which I don't even know what it's called anymore. And I did some stuff with them, and I was doing some stuff this morning. I did some stuff with our buddy Ernie, and it's like the more you talk about it, the more angry you get, because that game was right there. Do you know the fourth time in the Super Bowl era in postseason history, that was just the fourth time a team leading by 15 or more points with 8 minutes to go in the third quarter that were still leading, only the fourth time in history of the NFL in Super Bowl era that they lost a game? That's how big of loss, how much of a collapse this was. Now, that's not from me. That's from the NFL Network. They had that graphic up this morning. I didn't realize that. I mean, I thought, yeah, it's a bad game, bad loss, whatever. So what I want to talk about is the word, and we knew this going into the weekend, that the Packers were already at least rumored to be starting to work a deal with Matt LaFleur for an extension. But I want to tell you, hang on to your shirt, because I'd say 95% of that is true. But there's a backstory to this too. So I want to give you that. I want to talk to you about what I saw, and I want to get your thoughts. I did a piece yesterday. I came into the studio and I did a piece yesterday, and I normally, anytime they tell you do a reel on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or anything like that, don't do it more than a minute, you know? And I just went on. It was like 3 minutes long, and it even warned me. It said, Bill, this is not going to get reach. It's not going to get flow. It's not, you know, it's going to be, and I'm like, you know what? I don't care if I'm peeing into a fan at this point. I'm getting this out here. It is now over 1 million views and gave us 5 million reach. It's crazy how much Packardom matters, so to speak. And what I said yesterday holds true today. And I said in my piece yesterday, I wanted to wait. Now, normally you wait 24 hours, but I wanted to wait overnight and then watch the game again to be able to say, okay, before I hit enter, it's like an angry email, right? We don't hit enter that day, hit enter to the next day. So I went back and I'm like, okay. And I wrote down my thoughts, and I came back, and I was more pissed yesterday than I was Saturday night. Now, I want to give you two things, and then I'm going to move on, and I'm going to open things up. There's two things to today's show that I want to lay the groundwork for right now. One is, this is what we do. Grant and I, we do this for a living. This is our job. We do it as analysts. We do it as a fan face, so to speak, but we try to bring always a sense of reality to the program. We try not to go too overboard. We try not to be too dramatic. We try not to go over the top. We try to be, here's the reasons why, give you all the information. So even us, we can make an informed hypothesis of what it is we're understanding. Okay. We all try to walk away a little bit smarter, right? Then there's the fan side. I grew up in Cincinnati, Ohio. I rooted for Cincinnati and the Bengals, but my mom and dad, since I was a kid, all I heard about was this great guy, this iconic guy, this godlike figure. His name, Bart Starr. So anytime Green Bay was on, early 70s, they were good. Mid 70s and 80s, they were terrible. But that's who I watched. That was the team. That was my second team. Why? They were owned by the people, man. There was a passion there. There was a fandemonium there. You know, I had my Green Bay pennant in my room when I was a kid next to my Cincinnati Bengals helmet and my Ohio State helmet and all that. So there's a fan side of this that brings a passion to it, okay? So what we try to do is navigate that so we can all come together like we're sitting in a bar, right? And we're all drinking and we're all talking and we're all working this out and we're trying to get ideas to talk us off the ledge, right? So that's where we're at today, because right now it's raw. The cut was made on Saturday night. It started to heal a little bit yesterday, and then today, man, we're going to pick that scab open a little bit, okay? So don't get crazy, but we're going to bring it today. 877-867-1670. And on a good note, I do have an announcement to make. I told you on Friday we'd make an announcement today. We're going to make it in the next hour, which I'm fired up about. Okay? 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Track us down. That's a great way to do it. If you want to text in today, and I would assume many of you will, all you got to do is track us down at 608-321-1670, 608-321-1670. And you can give us a shout there. You can also find us over on YouTube. And YouTube, the channel has gone through the roof, and I love it. I appreciate it. Go to youtube.com/Bill Michaels Show. youtube.com/Bill Michaels Show. It's free. It's absolutely free. We wouldn't charge you for this, right? On Twitter, on X, @Bill_Michaels, @Bill_Michaels, @Wisco Grant, @Wisco Grant. You can also track us down on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, and many of you have. We appreciate it. Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, The Bill Michaels Show. We're on the Twitch app, the Kick app, the LinkedIn app as well. Our app, Wisco Sports Zone, Wisco Sports Zone. Okay. Email the program, thebillmichaels@gmail.com. The website, find anything and everything there, thebillmichaels.com. We are a television show, My24 TV, on Saturday night, 8 o'clock Central Time. And that's where you can find us in Milwaukee on My24 TV. Kind of go from there. So that is all the different ways to find us, okay? All the different ways to track us down. There you have it. Grant, how are you doing? Because I was a little concerned about you and your well-being watching the game the other night.
I mean, I'm bummed. I'm bummed that they lost to the Bears. And like as a Packers fan now, my team has left me exposed. Like I have to eat crap talk from Bears fans and Bears people on the internet. And I don't appreciate that. But as far as the team goes, like, I don't know, man. I've seen that playoff loss before. Like, right. It was a rerun. So I'm bummed.
I've never seen that one like that devastating. The last time I remember something this devastating was when Bostic went up in 2014 and tried to bring down the onside kick or the Hail Mary, one of the two.
Yeah, I mean, the deficit or the comeback was a little dramatic, but a playoff game, it looked like they should have won and had won, and then they didn't win. Like, I've seen that a bunch. And they'd lost a bunch of games like that this year where they had a double-digit lead in the fourth quarter. So at a certain point, it's like, you guys, I'm not going to lose my mind over you. I'm not going to let my heart get broken over you. Like, this is a you problem. You know what I mean? Like, if you guys are going to keep blowing fourth quarter leads, like, I'm going to become numb to this. I'm almost going to laugh at you a little bit because, I mean, what else am I left to do? So a crushing, horrible, embarrassing franchise-defining loss, but not really anything out of the ordinary for this team this year. So I feel like I've gotten over it for the most part. Otherwise, it's going to hit me at like noon today. We'll see. Maybe it could get worse. But
the sink-in factor hit me yesterday when I listened to Matt, and we're going to hear Matt LaFleur today, but when I listened to Matt LaFleur's end-of-season presser, that's when it kind of sank. And I thought, man, and when you talk about losses, the Packers led by 10 points in Cleveland, they lost. 13 points in Dallas, they tied. 9 points in Denver, they lost. 10 points in Chicago, they lost. And 18 points in Chicago, they lost. All of those games were unbelievably winnable. Now, the only game I can say that you can see it coming was Denver. Because Denver, once Micah went down, you just guys gutted it out, but you could tell everything just, you understand it as a human being. But the rest of those games, they should have won those games. And when you look at it that way, and then you think about they're only the fourth team in the history of the NFL in the Super Bowl era to have an 18-point lead, 15 or more, with 8 minutes to go in the third quarter, and only 4 teams, including now the Packers, have lost in the history. Only 4. And you think, okay. And then I did this yesterday. I went back and I was listening to Matt LaFleur's press conference after the game. And he started out, he said, I was listening to all of it, and I go back to a certain point. I wrote it down. He said, give them credit. We knew they could come back. Duh. Okay. We all know that. He said, offensively, we came out in the second half and we could just not get anything going. They started bringing the pressure and we weren't sliding out to it. Give them credit. It's unfortunate. And at that point in time, I almost blacked out. In other words, first of all, you're taking it out on your offensive line. Secondly, is this something you never saw before? Is this something you never coached before? Is this something you didn't understand? In other words, they made an adjustment and you didn't. And you, Matt LaFleur, looked like a deer in the headlights, which it trickled down to the rest of your team. You were outcoached. You were embarrassed. And there's no way with what I just gave you, with all the leads that you had and the games that you came back and lost, and what goes back to proving ever since you decided to kick a field goal against Tampa Bay, you knew you had a bad offensive line that was just coming back from injury against San Francisco with Maurice Drayton and absolutely piss-poor special teams, and you insisted on running them out there doing it again. And the games that we witnessed this year, including twice losing to Chicago, and you can't handle adversity, and you want to be a head coach. The question is not whether or not you think you'll be the head coach. The question should be asked, Matt, do you think you even should be the head coach of the Green Bay Packers? Period. And I don't have a defense for him anymore. That's why I said, look, at policy, if you bring him back, I'll support it because that's the team that I root for. That's the team that's great for my business. So there's a personal and a professional interest there. I'll do what I can. But I can't defend the piss-poor play when this team continually faces adversity and you fold like a cheap suit and look like a deer in the headlights. It trickles down from you to your quarterback to the rest of your team. And I'm not blaming Halfley because they played their ass off with what they had. They played a soft zone. They kept things in front of them. They did what they needed to do. It was the offense in the third quarter that specifically let this team down. With 3 and out, 5 and out, you couldn't do anything. You don't roll out your quarterback. Are you afraid to run him? Does he not have the ability to run? Does he not have the ability to see what's going on downfield? Do you keep it simple in that particular case? I don't know. There's no play action. It's very simple. You were being praised by Kirk Herbstreit in the first half for all these innovative things. But then again, it was a clean pocket. They weren't putting a lot of pressure on the quarterback. He's one of the best when he doesn't have pressure. Under pressure, he's one of the worst. Does he not have the ability to kind of think through it, to see it? I don't know. I don't know how he's being coached. It goes back to Greg Cosell last year down at Super Bowl saying, we can't necessarily criticize because we don't know how he's being coached. But we will never get an answer because of Red China. But what I do know, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, you watch Josh Allen, you watch Brock Purdy, you watch Drake May, you watch those teams and those quarterbacks, including Caleb Williams, will their team to victory. And it's just like the Supreme Court saying, I can't tell you what pornography is, but I know it when I see it. When I see quarterbacks with the it factor, that's the reason people say Jordan Love doesn't have the it factor. He is a tremendously gifted quarterback. He's got unbelievable skills. He can throw the ball anywhere on a dime when he's not under pressure. But at times when they need him the most, at times when they need innovation the most, when they need a quarterback and a coach to stand up and say, I will not be denied, you fold. And that's the reason they lost this game. Period. End of story. That's the reason they lost this game. And that's the reason I can't believe in Matt LaFleur anymore. I don't have any defense for Matt LaFleur anymore. For everybody that has said everything about him not facing adversity, not making adjustments, not the capability of having anything that will make you and inspire you to be that team that's going to say, we will not be denied. I don't care. Look at what Saleh did with that defense. Look at what Shanahan did, even after Kittle went down with a busted up tendon. All of that. And then you're going to say, well, we couldn't slide out. They put pressure on us. Kiss my ass. You can't do that. I'm still pissed off. More of the Bill Michaels Show next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. Bill Michaels Show. Off to the hell of a start today. I'll tell you that right now. I need a drink. I need a drink and a cigar. Welcome back. Didn't get a chance to do it yesterday. I've been a little under the weather, and I just couldn't handle it yesterday. But I had my friends call me and said, "Hey, you want to go down and get a bourbon and a cigar down in Nice Ash?" And I'm like, "Guys, I'd love to. I can't. I was been under the weather, and just my head wasn't there." But it's great that it's open, and they had a great weekend. They had music back. They had a big crowd in there on Saturday night to check out the Packers game. Unfortunately, no victory cigars were lit, more like sorrow cigars. But nevertheless, it is back open, and it's great. I'm so happy for them that they finally got a chance to open up, and it looks better and smells fresher and such. But Nice Ash Cigar Bar, 323 West Main Street, downtown Waukesha. Whether it's the bourbons, the whiskeys, tonight they have poker. You can stop on in and check all of that out. And don't forget, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, entertainment is back, and it's good, and it's fun. And I'm so glad that a staple in downtown Waukesha is back open and thriving and surviving. So that is fantastic. All right, let's do this. I want to get back to, I shouldn't say back to, I want to open up the phone lines, 877-867-1670. You heard my spiel. So I'm gonna open it up to you. Let's do this. Let's go to Adam listening to us in Houston. Adam, welcome to the program, man. What's going on?
Hey, Bill. How you doing?
Good, man. What's happening?
Okay, so love your show. Agree with you most of the time. We'll talk about one thing I agree with you on, and one thing maybe not quite so much. So totally agree about Matt LaFleur. I'm done with LaFleur, and the main reason why is at halftime we're up 21-3. And I was not feeling good, was not feeling confident. And it's based on all the other games we've seen in the past that we know we're not going to seal the deal in the second half. So it's kind of like when it becomes the expectation that you blow leads, the coach has got to go.
Yeah.
The area where maybe a little bit of different opinion, a lot of the stuff I'm hearing is the hall pass we're given to the defense. I understand the defense had a good first half, so that's great. But when you give up 25 points in the fourth quarter, it's on the defense too. I'm sorry. I don't care. I don't care about injuries. Look at what 49ers are doing. They're playing, guys off the street, basically. We gave up 25 points in the fourth quarter. Part of the reason we were up 25 points is our offense. So I agree that our offense was craptastic in the third quarter, but the defense should have been able to not give up 25 points in the sixth quarter. And lastly, my last point, I hear all the stuff about Love. I get it. There were some plays he should have ran on, but we did not lose the game because of Jordan Love. He had, I thought, a great game overall. And you said last week on your show, you said if he plays a clean game, doesn't make mistakes, throws the ball well, doesn't turn the ball over, we're going to win. And that's exactly what he did.
Not in the second half, he didn't.
He didn't turn the ball over.
He didn't turn the ball over. He missed receivers, took sacks, couldn't get out of the way. I think part of it was play calling, but chose not to run. Instead, on a 3rd and 2, when he had wide open field in front of him, he threw it away. And they punted.
It wasn't wide open. It wasn't quite wide open. But
I could have gained that. Look, you tell me, if I were right now to say Caleb Williams, Josh Allen, Drake May, Brock Purdy, or Jordan Love in the final 2 minutes of a game when you're down 10, who you taking?
I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Exactly. And it's not Jordan Love.
Huh?
It's not Jordan Love.
Okay, but Jordan Love made so many good throws in that game, even on the last five. What about the one that Jaden Reed dropped at the 20?
I agree with that. I agree with that. We can say, and I've said before, he is a really, really good quarterback. I'm looking for that next level. And this is why I say I can't put my finger on it. This is when people say he doesn't have the it factor. And I say, okay, where does he will you to win? Is he doing 4th down tush pushes when we saw Josh Allen get picked up and go for 10 yards? Is he doing what Brock Purdy did last night when you saw him throwing balls basically blind but still able to stand up and get out of harm's way? Did he do what Drake May did last night? Or did he do what Caleb Williams did where he just took off and run and was taking hits and diving for first downs? You don't see that out of Jordan Love. Tell me the last time he did it. Just tell me once. You can't, because he doesn't.
The Giants game?
The Giants game? We're going back to the Giants?
Well, no, I'm just giving you an example.
Yeah, my point is that I see these guys do this on a week in and week out basis. How in the hell is Brock Purdy and that offense getting it done without hardly anybody at this point? How is Josh Allen getting it done throwing to people you don't even know their names? And yet,
Jordan Love is not Josh Allen.
No,
that's the standard. Everybody is not Josh. Josh Allen is one of the best.
And Josh Allen's never won a Super Bowl, so I can't even throw him out there consistently. My point is I think Jordan Love is really good. Jordan Love to me has one more step to take, and then he goes from being really good to great. It's not bad. I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback. I'm saying that I'm looking for greatness, and I need that out of him.
Okay, I agree. And Bill, love your show.
I get it.
We're so used to the defense. We're so used to the defense blowing it, and now it's just like we need to blame the defense too. It's ridiculous.
No, I can't take all the pressure off the defense because I agree with you. But when you get nothing out of your offense and you're throwing a defense that you already know is bad on the field with 3 and out, 3 and out, 5 and out, and you can't move the football and you're putting them in harm's way, you can't. You're not helping yourself. The term complementary football has to come into play.
Agree.
All right, man. Thanks for calling. Appreciate it. And thanks for listening down in Houston, man, Adam. You the man. Thank you so much. Let's go to Z-Man. Z-Man, what's happening?
Hey, Bill. Love your show. Thanks for going off a little bit for all of us out here in Packer Nation, because we're all in the same boat. We're all feeling what you're feeling. And it's easy to call for the coach's head afterwards, Bill, but I got to tell you, I've been on it for 2 years. I cannot take any more of the inept calling. But let me throw a little stat out here, because we live in the analytical time. Of the 35 coaches that have gone to the Super Bowl and have won the Super Bowl, since 1967. 31 of them have done it in the first 7 years of their contract.
Mm-hmm.
Only 4 afterwards. Dude, if we're going to re-roll this guy, re-rack it, this is the pure definition of insanity. Take this guy, package him up. He's a good coach. He's not a great coach. Doug Collins was a good coach down in Chicago, too. Had to get rid of him because they got Phil Jackson. And y'all know what happened after that.
Right.
Okay, so we get it. We get it with Matt. Just trying to move on. Can't re-up you again, Matt. But I'm going to say this. Since John Eric Sullivan's down in Miami, they need a coach. Trade him. Pick up a draft pick for that guy. He's got a contract left. Move somebody in. Get some fresh blood in here because we're not going to be no worse than what we are right now because complacency set in. So I'll let that go, Bill. Love your show. Keep up the momentum. We need LaFleur out of here.
Thanks, pal. Talk to you soon. I've got a scenario for you. And I might get him on later this week, but our buddy, who people can't stand, but Eric Goodman from Mile High Sports, Eric and I were talking yesterday. He gave me a call. And his dad's a huge Packer fan, and he called me, and he wanted to know what the feeling was. And I want to get into all of this when we come back. So don't go anywhere. But I got a scenario for you that may or may not be taking place. Okay, so don't leave, because I got something for you just to think about. Okay. This portion of the program brought to you by our friends at Burn Pit Barbecue. Go to burnpitbbq.com. They're all over. They're doing grassroots stuff here in the state of Wisconsin. They're doing stuff nationally. They're in stores now, Myers stores and other, grocery stores and outlets. And our friends at Burn Pit, go to burnpitbbq.com. That is burnpitbbq.com. They're veteran-owned. They're based right here in the state of Wisconsin, Racine, Wisconsin, to be exact. And they're at the sports shows, the boat shows. They're at all the different things all throughout the great state of Wisconsin. But if you're a barbecue lover, if you are a smoker, if you are just a griller of any type, this is the product for you. Go to burnpitbbq.com. That's burnpitbbq.com.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Phil Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Phil Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Phil Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. I'll tell you one thing I'm looking forward to. This summer, AC/DC coming to Camp Randall. Yeah. I'm looking forward to that. Big time. I'll tell you this. Whether it's winter or summer, our friends at Morning Brewing, they got it going on. Got it going on. That's Stevens Point, Wisconsin. And brewing excellence since 1857. They've got the Bach Run coming up in March. Looking forward to that. And in addition to that, they've obviously got, great beverages, whether you're going to sit down and watch the rest of the NFL playoffs or you're getting into just, NBA or college hoops. And by the way, kudos to the Badgers. Big win over the weekend. You thought it was going to be some kind of a spectacular weekend getting through the first half of the Packers-Bears game because you're thinking, man, they just got rid of the number one team in the country. The Badgers did. They've got some guys coming into the portal, which is fantastic. And then you thought the Packers would kind of close out the trifecta, so to speak, and that just never happened, unfortunately. But that being said, it was whether it's that kind of a weekend or you're drowning your sorrows kind of weekend, it's a Point kind of weekend. Stevens Point, Wisconsin, Point Brewing excellence since 1857. Okay, I'm going to get back to the phone calls coming up here in just a few, but I hang in there. I'll get to you. Here's a thought, and this would happen. We'll never know about this, just so you know, unless somebody opens, loose lips sink the ships. The thought is, and I even balked at this because I thought a first-round draft choice? Seriously? Matt Ryan, who was just named the director of everything down in Atlanta, he's got a relationship with Matt LaFleur. He just took over. They need a head coach. And they need a head coach to work with a young, up-and-coming talent in Michael Penix Jr., and to kind of get their offense back on track. You got a weapon like Bijan Robinson. You've got a pretty good defense. You need somebody with an offensive mind to come in and kind of make things happen. Would they entertain a call from Ed Policy to say, hey, we'll never admit to this. Give us a first-round draft choice or more, and we'll trade our head coach. That then opens up the head coaching vacancy in Green Bay. I know a lot of people want to see Harbaugh. Harbaugh, who has backtracked publicly now off of the demands that everybody said he was looking for, which was total control of the roster and $20 million a year and yada, yada. Harbaugh, who we all know is a Midwest guy, has a house in the UP. He's wanted some time away, but he made the reference, or at least out of Baltimore, they made the reference. Could you imagine now, let's say Hafley does get a head coaching job. So now you're looking for a head coach, if indeed you make the trade, and you're looking for a defensive coordinator. What if that back channel was made? And that's the reason that it's coming out now that, hey, we are thinking about re-signing our guy. We're working on a contract extension. And I believe 95% of that is true. Okay, so let me say this. I think what I'm about to present to you is somewhat of a pipe dream. But think about this. Say they trade him away, whether to Baltimore to work with Lamar Jackson in that offense, or maybe trade him away to Atlanta where he's got a relationship. That opens things up for Harbaugh, who is then stated through the Baltimore Sun-Times, he talked about how much he likes Kevin Stefanski and Raheem Morris. Can you imagine the brain trust of 3 head coaches, one an offensive guy who's won, not one, but 2 different coach of the years over there in Cleveland. Now, Cleveland, when Chicago sends their poop into the water and Milwaukee sends their poop into the water, and then it all circles counterclockwise, right? And all of that goes up and through the channels, and then it goes around out of Lake Michigan and over into Lake Erie, and then that's where poop settles, is in Cleveland, right? That's why they're the Browns. Stefanski won a coach of the year over there. Think if you brought a guy like that in, Raheem Morris to run your defense, 3 head coaches, you're paying a lot of money, but can you imagine if you traded him away, brought it in, and did all that with a team? And here's my thought on this. Bear with me for a minute, because some say go get him, and some say it'll never happen. I get that. Okay, don't be screaming whether it's yes or no. Okay, I'm giving you a theory, or more of maybe a dream-filled wish list. Okay, so don't be pooping on my parade. He's not doing it. Just shut up. Keep your comments to yourself. So think about this for a minute. That you bring them in, that would make a lot of sense. But my biggest fear is that you went out and got Micah Parsons. You've got an up-and-comer in Edgerrin Cooper. You're probably going to re-sign Quay Walker. You're going to add additional pieces to this. You found a guy in Anthony Belton who's pretty good. Baron Sorrell, who's pretty good. You've got some young guys that are coming of age. You're going to lose Rasheed Walker most likely. You've got probably going to lose Elton Jenkins. You're going to have to rebuild some guys in the offensive front, but you've got a good pool of wide receivers. You've got some guys like Bullard and Evan Williams, and guys that you kind of feel like they're the up-and-comers. And you've got all of this and a good quarterback. Okay, I'm not coming down on to say he's like the worst quarterback ever. That's not it. I said he is a really, really good quarterback. He's got that next level to go to be great. Okay, that doesn't make him a bad quarterback. What I'm saying is I want that next it factor. I want him to go to greatness. That's what I'm looking forward to. Okay, so you got a really good quarterback. All of that. The cream is going to rise to the top together, because once it gets there and everybody's starting to make money, it's going to split apart. And it's very hard to bring in youth with veteran to kind of make it all cream rise to the top again, which is why next year is so important, next year and the year after, right? You don't want to mess with it. You don't want to try to run it back and hope that things get better. You don't want to try to do this again. We'll blame it on injuries. No, your window's only open so much for so long. Look at everybody said the window was open so wide in Detroit. Detroit's not even in the postseason. They're not even there. The window was huge on Philadelphia. They just got knocked out. They've been to a couple Super Bowls, but now they're talking about massive changes this upcoming season. They lost guys offensively and defensively. You've had guys retire. That window, it's not a 5-year window. It's a 2 to 3 year window at most, and you got to take advantage of it. The outlier to all of this was what Tom Brady and Bill Belichick did. All right? That you can't think about that. Get rid of that. Get rid of what they did down in Kansas City, because that's kind of an outlier. The norm in the National Football League is a 2 to 3 year window. And you've got these guys right here, right now. You add a couple of pieces and you're right back. You're right there. And if I'm Ed Policy, I'm sitting there right now with a pen in front of me, ready to sign something. But am I going to say, I'm going to run it back and hope for something different? Or do you go, you know what? Our window's open, man. We got to do this. Consistency is great. But think about this. And this is where I can't dive into that pool head first anymore and defend it. The Packers want to win a Super Bowl. There's no doubt about that. Super Bowls are a tremendous thing. They do so much. Not only do you have another championship trophy to put in your case, but you also make a lot of money off of it the following year, okay? And the Packers are already a huge team worldwide. We all know that, right? But when people say they don't care, they just want to get to the postseason, they don't care about winning, and then you run it back with the same old, and you expect different results, that gives validation to all the fans out there that go, they just want our money. They don't give a damn about winning. They're doing the same thing over and over again. If we can all see it, why can they not see it, right?
I almost texted you about this morning because I don't believe, and I don't think you believe, that the Packers just want to get to the playoffs. Right. They're happy with that. But a lot of people do think that, and we hear from those people. And now when those people call or want to come on the show and complain about that, exactly, what am I supposed to tell them?
Right. I can't defend it. All I can say is hope for this year.
Well, that's the thing. If you told me today, hey, they're going to win 12 games in the division next year and be a 2 seed, I wouldn't be shocked. You know what I mean? I wouldn't bet on that, but I wouldn't be floored if that's what happens. But here's the thing, and this is why bringing back LaFleur, I don't know if it's risky, but what if you're the 7 seed and you're a first round exit again next year? Don't you feel like you're just asking for it? You're asking to have the same issues next year and be right in the same spot a year from now.
It will be pitchforks and fire going up to Lambeau Field. I don't know if Ed Policy wants that heat. I mean, he's in a position of which he's going to take it regardless, you know. And here's the other thing, and I said this today too with Ernie. I said, look, even if they get rid of LaFleur, everybody's got an opinion on who they need to bring in. From the people that still to this day, for some reason, think John Gruden's walking through that door to somebody, some up and coming offensive coordinator that everybody wants. Whoever that happens to be, it's going to be a divisive thing. And if that guy doesn't win in year one, well, everybody's that didn't get their guy is going to say, well, see, I told you he sucks too. Because we're a fast food world. We want it out the window. We want it hot and fresh. We want it served with a smile with the best customer service ever. We don't want to pay for it. And we want it perfect. If it's not, all we're going to do is bitch, whine, and complain. So that's where the world is right now. But if you make a move, at least you are moving in a direction to say, we have got to be better. We've got to have a different standard here. That's what I think about. And then I think you've got a conglomeration of guys that you've put a good group of guys together. You're maybe a piece or two away, but you got a good group of guys together. And you're going to run it back. I just don't know if I can do that.
I think LaFleur's good, and I don't think there's a perfect option. I think it's a little silly, all the takes that I hear. We'll bring LaFleur back, but there's got to be big-time changes on his staff.
Not happening.
Well, if you think the staff is that bad and the operation is so bad, why do you want to bring back the guy who put it all together?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't think there's a perfect choice here. I just think you're asking for trouble if you run this back and you bring this coach back and you're the 7th seed again next year and you blow a bunch of close games and it's the same issues. You've wasted a year and now you have to do the thing next offseason anyways, in my opinion. And by the way, the pitchforks and torches, Bill, if they extend him and they start 1-2 next year, there's going to be pitchforks and torches. I don't care if he gets, I don't even know if he gets a contract extension or not. People are, the first month of the season, people are going to be calling for this guy's head if it starts poorly.
Let me say this and I'll back up what I said. I believe Ed Policy, Brian Gutekunst, Matt LaFleur, everybody in that organization from the top and guys that we know behind the scenes like Aaron Popke and company and Tom Fanning and Jason Wallers and Sarah and everybody in the PR, they all want to win. There is nothing there that says they don't want to win. That organization wants to win. My point being is that if you run it back and same old happens, it legitimizes everybody that says all they give a damn about is the money. All they give a damn about is just being competitive enough to be there. And I can't defend that when you have ineptitude or the lack of success and you say this is good enough. And right, Sam says, well, why don't you just make Bisaccia the head coach? Sam, I hope to God you're saying that tongue in cheek. Again,
I
special
saw
teams. Oh my God.
Domofsky, by the way, tweeted, again, it probably wouldn't matter. They had 10 men on the field for Chicago's final extra point for the Packers, the kick block. Yeah. So it was
10 men on the field, 2 big returns, misses by McManus. By the way, let me say this about McManus. McManus won a lot of games in Denver. I believe McManus, this goes back to, remember the year that Mason Crosby missed like 7 kicks and there were 3 or 4 of them that were in Detroit?
Is that 2013?
Yeah. He had a terrible season. And everybody wanted him out of town. They ran him. I mean, his name was mud. And I said, no, it's kind of like a golfer that loses their swing. You got to go get it back. He's a good kicker. And I know people are going to say McManus sucks and this and that, but you didn't say it 2 years ago or a year ago when he was hitting game-winning field goals. He didn't suck then. And what's funny is well, bring back Harvasek. Well, Harvasek missed field goals and you wanted him out of town too. So McManus is good. He's a good kicker. I think this year he got hurt and he lost his swing. He'll be back. He'll be fine. I'm not worried about that. No, I'm not. That's the least of my worries right now. I think there's a lot, not to mention the one field goal at the end of the game that he missed. The snap was bad. It was a bad snap and a bad hold.
Yeah, I was going to say the hold too. You saw, right?
Yeah, the hold was off. It almost, he didn't get it down because he was still bobbling the football. So that was off. So I'm not going to look at all of this, and say, wow, it's McManus. He's saying, because no, you got to look at things and we try to keep it real. But there's just a lot here that we're unpacking today to say, if you run it back, I think all of us will get behind you and say, we hope it works because we're all Packers fans. But if you run it back and it doesn't, and you double down on a guy that at times has had, staring in the face of adversity, the wherewithal to collapse, you can't defend it anymore. You just got to let everybody go past you and rush past and with the fire and the pitchforks and go, I don't have a reason. Just go ahead and go, because there's nothing you can say to defend it. So again, that's why I say it's not about whether or not you think you're going to have a job. It's whether or not you think you deserve the job. You can talk about the successes, and they're there, and I've defended them. But this I can't defend anymore. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Hit us up. We'd love to hear from you. This portion of the program brought to you by our friends at MIBA, M-I-B-A, MIBA Industrial Bearings in Grafton, Wisconsin. They are looking for great people. Start 2026 off with a new career, a new you, new place to work for, somebody that's going to pay you, going to give you benefits, give you time off, all that kind of good stuff. That's our friends at MIBA, M-I-B-A, MIBA Industrial Bearings in Grafton, Wisconsin. Call them direct, 262-337-2210, or just upload your resume to Indeed, and they are searching right now. They're interviewing right now. Again, MIBA, M-I-B-A, MIBA Industrial Bearings in Grafton, Wisconsin, 262-337-2210. More of the Bill Michaels Show. Back to the phones coming up next.
Ready? This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back to the program. Bill Michaels Show. On this Monday edition, we're going to get to the phone calls here in just a second. Dave in Newsburg. By the way, Dave, I was in Newsburg this weekend, as a matter of fact. I was there for a wrestling match, wrestling tournament. Early Saturday, was up in Newsburg. So the Flying Dutchman. Beautiful school, too, by the way. But he says, I can't believe you're railing on Love. I'm not railing on Love. What I said was, he's a really good quarterback. I want him to take the next step. He said, but what if Love ran for the first down and hit 2 or 3 more passes and then ran a little bit more? Then what would you say? But, I mean, what if my mom had junk? She'd be my dad, but she doesn't, and she's not. They didn't win the game, and your scenario didn't play out, and it didn't look that way. What do you want me to say? He didn't do that. If he did that and they end up winning the game and he kind of wills them to a win, I would say absolutely the opposite. I would say he willed them to a win. He had more play in his game and overcome the adversity of whatever Matt LaFleur is referring to the offensive line than maybe what Caleb Williams did. And we would be talking about a different scenario, but they didn't. And that's my point. I'm sorry I offended your Jordan Love fandemonium. And again, he's a really, really good quarterback. There's a level of really good and there's a level of great. And I want him to achieve greatness. I think he can. He's got all the talent and all the tools and all the ability. He does. Nobody's knocking Jordan Love. What I'm saying is you saw quarterbacks this past weekend that you can't put your thumb on it to say, here's what it is they do. But there's an it factor there. And I just wanted to see that in the second half of that game where it was like, hey, nothing's working, man. I got to will my team to victory. That's all. Don't get so defensive. Let's go to Izzy listening to us in Madison. Izzy, what's going on, man?
Hey, it's my first time calling in. So I guess I have some thoughts I want to share, and I have a few questions for you. But my thought is this. We all know going in, you got to have 3 phases of the game to win, right?
Right.
We got the worst special teams. We don't even have to talk about our special teams has been bad for years.
Right.
4 years. So our offensive line got beat up, and I think didn't Tom start the game but didn't finish the game? Yeah, if I recall.
You had Zach Tom did not. Jordan Morgan played right tackle. You lost the center Jacob Monk on the first play, basically the kickoff, and then after that you lost Sean Ryan, your center as well.
Okay, so the offensive line sucks. Then we get to the defense that they said went from rated number 5, where we had Parsons, to number 25. So the bottom line is we were just not good at all 3 of those phases. What I really want you to tell me is when you watch the game again and the play calling in the second half, I just wondered, was it the play calling or was it Jordan? Because Jordan had a 107 quarterback rating.
Right.
He had a great quarterback rating in that game compared to Caleb had a 71 rating. So I'm not going to blame Jordan. I'm really suspecting, and I haven't watched because I'm not ready to watch that game again. I'll tell you now.
I get it.
But what did you see when you started looking at the play calling in the second game? Because I suspect that he stops being aggressive and starts doing something else. Because even our running back had 49 yards at halftime.
Yeah,
right.
He only ended up six more yards in the second half. That was it. They abandoned the run. They sat in
There you
shotgun.
go. Right.
The minute they went to pressure, they sat in shotgun the entire time.
Okay,
And
so
the play calling changes. We're at the top of the hour. I got to run, as you man. I'm going to get all into this coming up in the next segment. Stay tuned. Appreciate the phone call. Let's do this. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll go over some of that. He's got some legitimate points. I want to talk about that. Stay tuned. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. Hit us up. We got a lot more on a Green and Gold Monday, our last one of the year. Stay tuned. We got more of the Bill Michaels Show coming up.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, Saturday night saw the Green Bay Packers season come to an end at Soldier Field as they squandered a 21-3 lead at halftime to lose to the Bears 31-27. Now, Packers head coach Matt LaFleur met with the media yesterday, said he was sitting down with Packers president and CEO Ed Policy about his future. Packers head coach LaFleur was also asked by the media if he believes he's still the guy to lead the team to their next Super Bowl.
I don't think those are questions for me. Like I said, I think my sole focus is just trying to find solutions to some of our issues and why things went awry yesterday. And, it's disappointing. I'm as disappointed, obviously, as all you guys, as our fans, as everybody in our organization, because we had plenty of opportunities to slam the door shut and we didn't get it done.
Turning to Wisconsin football, they've been one of the most active teams in the transfer portal with 25 new players added. They'll get a few more days to bring some more players into the team as the portal officially closes on Friday, January 16th.
For nearly 40 years, ABC of Wisconsin has been helping men and women transform themselves into well-paid, productive members of their construction teams. Today, we have 2,000 active apprentices in 10 different skilled trade programs, and we educate individuals in more trades than anyone else. To get your career started, go to buildyourcareerwi.org or just search online for ABC of Wisconsin.
Saturday saw Wisconsin basketball hand number 2 in the nation, Michigan, their first loss of the year, pulling off the road win 91-88. Up next for the Badgers, they're in Minnesota taking the Golden Gophers tomorrow. And finally, the Milwaukee Bucks would fall in Denver last night, 108-104. They come back home for the West Coast road trip to host the Timberwolves tomorrow night at the Pfizer Forum. For the Wisconsin Sports Zone Network, I'm Ebo.
Welcome in the final Green and Gold Monday of the 2025-26 season. As the Packers fall on Saturday night in just ugly, horrific fashion to the Chicago Bears 31-27 after being up 21-3. 21-3. They were up 15 points or more with 10 minutes to go in the third quarter. And they are one of only 4 teams in the modern Super Bowl era to be up that much with that little time left and to lose a ball game. To lose the ball game. One of only 4 teams in the postseason to lose a ball game like that. That tells you how epically a failure it was. And really, it wasn't until, 13:29 left to go in the fourth quarter that Carlos Santos hit that 51-yarder to make it 21-9 at that point. So really, they were even up 15 in the fourth quarter and figured out a way to snatch defeat out of the jaws of victory. Welcome into the program, 877-867-1670. You can track us down on the phone number if you want to call in, and we're going to get to the phone calls coming up. Also, find us text message 608-321-1670, 608-321-1670. Give us a shout. You can also find us in many different facets. On YouTube, go to youtube.com/Bill Michaels Show, youtube.com/Bill Michaels Show. You can also find us on all the other platforms, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, on the Twitch app, the Kick app, the LinkedIn app. We're on Twitter, on X, @Bill_Michaels, You can find Grant, @Wisco Grant. Our app, which is Wisco Sports Zone, Wisco Sports Zone. You can email the program, thebillmichaels@gmail.com, thebillmichaels@gmail.com. You can also find us at thebillmichaels.com, all those different links and such that I just told you about. You can find them there. You can also track us down, My24 TV in Milwaukee, 8 o'clock Central Time on Saturday night, My24 TV in Milwaukee. Again, a Green and Gold Monday. We're going to get back to the phone calls coming up here momentarily. If you joined us in the first hour, tremendous. If you did not, and you're just kind of joining us for the first time now, welcome back in, and welcome in on all the network stations. We certainly appreciate that. Going back to the question from Izzy in the last hour to wrap up the top of the hour, he said, what was it like in the second half for Jordan Love? And when you look at the second half, the Packers, when you think about it, okay, the Packers, after going, now this is their first half, 9 plays, 85-yard touchdown, 10 plays, 87-yard touchdown, 8 plays, 32 yards touchdown, 6 plays, 27 yards, missed field goal. Then 3 plays, -2 yards, punt. 3 plays, 8 yards, punt. 5 plays, 23 yards, punt. 3 plays, no yards, punt. Then they go on the 6-play, 64-yard drive, touchdown. 8 plays, 48 yards, missed field goal. 11 plays, 49 yards, end of the game. So it was touchdown, 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 missed field goal, punt, 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 touchdown, missed field goal, end of game. That's where things ended up for the Green Bay Packers.
Is it crazy to say that they got just about every stroke of good luck in this game, too? They recovered 3 fumbles.
Yes.
Romeo Dobbs, that play in the end zone, the fumble on the kickoff.
Yep.
Well, recovering Lucas Van Ness, forcing that fumble, the Bears recovered. But there's like 3 or 4 plays that the ball that Kennard fumbled that the Packers were lucky to get back on in the second half. So there's not even like a bunch of plays where it's like, man, that was tough luck. Or I think they got all the breaks in this game, too, and they still lost.
Yep. Jordan Love in the first half, 9 of 15, 139 yards, 3 touchdowns, a quarterback rating of 130.3. He finished up 24 of 46 for 323 yards and 4 touchdowns. So when you talk about, and again, you go back to the majority of plays also, by the way, were run out of shotgun in the second half. And the quarterback rating for the total for the game was 103. So the quarterback rating in the second half was dramatically less. When you have a 130 quarterback rating in the first half and a 103 final, it still looks good. The numbers are good. But the second half, nowhere near as successful. Nowhere near as successful. And going back to the play calling, and we talked a little bit about this, and there was a stat out there that said the Packers scored 3 first-half touchdowns on those 3 drives. 15 plays under center, 12 plays out of shotgun. The Packers had 3-score lead at halftime. The second half, 5 plays under center, 35 plays out of shotgun. Before the final drive, 5 plays under center, 24 plays out of shotgun. I've been screaming about this for a long time. In other words, you didn't have the ability. This is what I believe happened. They changed their look up front. They started bringing pressure. Packers couldn't handle it. Jordan Love, they put him in shotgun so he could see it coming. Under center, they don't have the ability to get away from pressure, which is an indictment on both the ability of the quarterback and the coaching. Think about it. They brought pressure, so we got to put him further back. Those stupid, fake, delayed handoffs, and which, by the way, they were few and far between. Because remember, it was 14 or 12 carries for 49 yards in the first half of this game. 12 carries for 49 yards. Josh Jacobs in the second half, 7 carries for 6 yards.
Didn't stop him from trying. And on that last drive where they missed a field goal, Bill, didn't it feel like first down, LaFleur was just, all right, we're going to hand the ball off, force the Bears to take a timeout.
Right.
we're going to get no yards. We're going to force it back. And there's minutes left. It's like, LaFleur, if you guys score a touchdown, you win.
Right.
Why are you futzing around trying to force the Bears to take their timeouts? I didn't get it.
Exactly. It was poor clock management, and he was being ripped by, who was it? God, I was listening to everything this morning. Might have been Rex Ryan, but just killing him. Like, his clock management has been terrible. And he even brought up the Dallas game. He's like, look at this. The clock management of this guy is awful. It's one of his Achilles heels. And again, that's the reason I can say you can't run it back. You know, the games that you lost, the come from behind losses that you sustained this year, you were 6-3 and come from behind losses by other teams. You were, what was the statistic that I brought up earlier? I can't remember what the number was, but it's like in games that you should not lose, the Packers up until this point were like 360-1, 306-1. From 1970 to 2024, for the record, when leading by 10 points or more in the final 5 minutes of a game, including the playoffs, the Packers were 306-1 in their franchise history from 1970 until last year. This season, they're 6-3, 3 losses when leading by 10 points in the final 5 minutes, 3 of them, including your playoff. Terrible clock management. They don't even have the tie in there. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. If you want to hit us up, do it. We got a lot of people to get to. Tim listening to us in Arizona. Tim, how you doing, man? What's going on?
Oh, Bill, I'll tell you, I am so beaten up by this loss, and it reminds me of the Seattle game back in 2014.
Yep.
I'm 74, and this is my 67th year. I'm going to be a Packer fan. Gerard, 63, 64 years. You've done it for 30 years. I think Mike in Rockford, 2025. And he always reminds me of Ed O'Bradovich when he's on. Anyway, I hate to say this, and it sounds blasphemous, but I was pulling for the Bears in that game on Saturday because I am sick and tired of blown leads and everything with Matt LaFleur. I just can't have it anymore. If Ed policy, he needs to do exactly like Ron Wolf did in the fall of 91 when he took over. You've got to clean house and you've got to get your people in there. We cannot have retreads and with Jordan Love like that text or called and said something about, oh, he's such a good quarterback. I'm sorry. Jordan Love, you win a Super Bowl for me and the rest of the Packer Nation, then I will put you in that thing with Brett Favre. When you know when Brett Favre had the ball, you could see it in his body language. He wasn't going to get beat. When you saw a close-up of Aaron Rodgers, that look in his eye, it was like, we cool. I got the defense figured out. We're going to go in for the score. They knew. But with Jordan Love, when I see pictures, close-up pictures of him when he's taking the huddle or anything, it's like looking at the Sphinx over there in Egypt. There is no motion at all. Mm-hmm. This guy cannot put a team on his back and take it to a championship, much less a playoff victory. So other than that, Bill, it's been a great year. I'll be back for year 67, and I don't want to say I was happy that the Packers lost, but we got to get rid of these guys. These two bums have got to go. Have a good one, Bill. All
right, bud. Appreciate it. Again, I think Jordan Love is a really good quarterback. Really good. And some people are saying, well, how can you say that when you say he's not the – look, I said this. There's a level of really good. There's a level of mediocrity. There's a level of average. And there's a level of great. There's that level right there for him to take that step. That's what you're hoping for. I don't know if he's going to get that opportunity. And again, I go back to why do you feel the need to run everything out of shotgun if he's that good? You want to give him a look. I get it. But why? It's proven time and again that when you don't mix that up, they pin their ears back and come after you. And that can counter pressure. And especially if they're coming after you with that much aggression, that's when play action becomes huge. I mean, this is high school.
Those are some of the easiest plays in the first half. Hard sell play action,
right.
Dump off to Christian Watson, and there he goes.
And you saw Caleb Williams do it, perfection it.
They left those plays of the playbook in the locker room.
Exactly.
Clearly.
Exactly. Bill Barnwell. Says at halftime of Sunday night's game, of course, LaFleur looked like he might earn a brand new contract right there in the locker room. It seemed that the Packers had out-prepared, out-schemed, and outplayed the Bears, who were failing on fourth downs and struggling to live up to the moment. Chicago coach Ben Johnson wasn't able to get his ground game going. He had dialed in just one play-action pass for Caleb Williams and couldn't rely at all on his defense to slow down the Green Bay Packers. Loving the Packers offense scored touchdowns on their first 3 drives. Brandon McManus did miss the 55-yarder at the end of the half, but the Packers were up 21-3. Then he says, well, 3 missed kicks matter, as McManus missed another field goal and an extra point, costing the Packers 7 points in a game that they lost by 4. But he was the savior for the Packers last season when he produced an outlier season in terms of accuracy. But the Packers brought McManus back, blah, blah, blah. The Bears found their rhythm on offense. They scored on 5 of their 6 possessions in the second half, racking up 333 net yards and 28 points. The Packers decidedly did not. The offense went to sleep for its first 4 possessions in the second half as Green Bay amassed 29 yards total and 1 first down across a 4-drive stretch. Much of that owed to the rushing attack that they simply stopped using of Josh Jacobs. It was solidly early in the game plan, but the 2024 free agent addition and the offensive line could not conspire to even threaten the line of scrimmage for most of the contest. Jacobs finished with 19 carries, 55 yards, but his final 14 totes produced just 16 yards and 1 first down. Jacobs was stopped on a 2nd and 3 and a 3rd and 1 on 2 carries from the 1-yard line. And then pressed into action as a kick returner. He fumbled. The Packers were fortunate to fall in that football. Jacobs was returning from a knee injury, which, again, what the hell is he doing out there? Jeff Hafley earned the head coaching consideration for his work with the Packers defense over the past couple of years, but it also wasn't his best showing either. The Packers weren't able to get off the field on 4th down against the Bears in the first half. They were, but frankly, that was more of a product of Chicago's clumsiness than great defensive play. The Bears center Drew Dahlman fired a snap wide of Williams, throwing off the timing, blah, 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 blah. It goes from there. Then it goes on to say, after the break, Hafley's defense wasn't even able to consistently slow down the Bears. He deserves some of the credit as well when it comes to the credit for the ineptitude. The Packers weren't able to create a post-snap problem for Williams in the passing game. There was nothing there. And he says that also before the snap play, they blitzed Xavier McKinney from 11 yards off the line of scrimmage. McKinney never even got close to Williams. The Packers were outnumbered on a flood combination, on and on and on. The final play saw the Bears take advantage of the position and the weak spot on the Packers roster since the start of the season. Carrington Valentine was supposed to be booted out of the starting lineup by the arrival of free agent and slot corner Nate Hobbs, but Hobbs ineffective and injured for most of the season, on and on and on. This time, though, the Bears taking that shot downfield. Williams fired toward the tunnel, blah, blah, blah. It goes on from there. This is a long one. But it basically says injuries and absences mattered. We understand that. The Packers sorely missed Parsons, the player for whom Gutekunst sent 2 first-round picks to acquire. The Packers did have a chance to win the game after the Moore touchdown, but sloppy game management from LaFleur again limited what they could do. It's always easier to evaluate time usage after the fact when we know how the game is actually going to end, but it's impossible to suggest that LaFleur got anything close to full value for the 3 timeouts that he had in the second half. Green Bay used its first one on offense at 3:02 left, stopped the clock in a 3-point lead to avoid a delay of game penalty. That's fine. But they went back out on the line after that, and they took a delay of game penalty, costing them 5 yards. It just goes on from there. It's needless to say. Should he deserve and get a contract extension? Bill Bidwell says no. LaFleur has gone 76-40-1 as a head coach, despite fielding what were often underwhelming defenses over that stretch, and an issue I would blame more on Joe Barry than him. There have been a couple of rough losses in the postseason. I'm not sure I'll understand LaFleur kicking a field goal against the Bucs, which I go back to time and again. The story seems to be the same for the Packers because it is the same. They're a good team stuck in a tough division. They're the youngest team in the league on an annual basis as Gutekunst strips the old players from the roster and loads up on draft picks. The difference was supposed to be Parsons, a true superstar who would elevate the rest of the team. Goes on from there. Instead, I suspect it will be an offseason of, again, retooling. The offseason might be the end of the line for Green Bay in the 30-year-old lineman Elton Jenkins. And he goes on about their roster recoup, so to speak. The Packers, again, this year is 26th in special teams, probably during the regular season, which might create a problem for the coordinator, Rich Bisaccia. Outside of very top teams in football, a lot of organizations would look envious of the Green Bay Packers and what they've built, but keep running it back and doing the same old is not going to be a healthy situation for the Green Bay Packers. And it goes on from there. They might be better off with another head coach, he says. So that's from Bill Bidwell. 877-867-1670. I'll get to Tom when we come back. Tom, don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. We got a whole lot more of the Bill Michaels Show coming up. This portion of the program brought to you by our friends at Suburban Harley-Davidson. If you're thinking about getting on two wheels and maybe some wind therapy, which we could all use right now, although it's a little cold to ride, but God knows we need it. Check out our friends at Suburban Harley-Davidson. Todd and again, they can make you a deal on a new one, on a used one. The 26s are coming in. You can get a brand new one. But they've been around 50 plus years. Their service department is second to none, and that's huge in the business because you want to find somebody that's really reliable and trustworthy to work on your two wheels. Think about that. And they've got all the accessories to go along with it as well. That's family-owned, community-minded, right there on Main Street in Thiensville, Wisconsin. SuburbanHarley.com. That is SuburbanHarley.com.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
See our friends at Sobelman's tonight. We have a networking event going on. If you're a business owner or somebody that's, we'll say, in the know in the Milwaukee area or the surrounding areas, Sobelman's tonight. Big networking event going on. I'm going to be speaking down there tonight. Sobelman's Pub and Grill in Milwaukee on St. Paul Avenue. They've been there 25 plus years. Good stuff down at Sobelman's. Sobelman's Pub and Grill. Always good people.
Meet at Sobelman's.
Milwaukee and Waukesha.
Hell yeah, they're in Waukesha too on William Street. Good stuff from our friends at Sobelman's. Get one of those big brioche burgers down there tonight. Looking forward to it. Let's get back to the phone calls. I got, by the way, we're going to make an announcement this hour. This hour at the top of the hour, 1 and 2. We got Eric Baranczyk of the Green Bay Press Gazette coming up here, bottom of the hour. So we'll probably do it at the top of the next hour. But kind of a cool thing that we just signed the deal. So I'm excited about it, and I'm looking forward to already next Packers season. Let's go to Tom listening to us in Fairchild. Tom, how you doing, man? What's going on?
Hey, Bill, love the show. Watch you on YouTube all the time.
Thank you. You're the one. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I've got two things. First of all, just as I was watching one of the four-letter networks this morning, and they just love them some Matt LaFleur. Think you can't do no wrong, and I kind of chuckle at that because obviously they don't listen to anything local. But during the games, I noticed one thing with Matt LaFleur is several times this year the camera cuts away and he's on an equipment locker in the back of the bench area looking at his iPad, trying to figure out plays, trying to do all that. And I think that is one of the best examples of where he needs to hire Miami's coach to be his OC. During the week, they get a game plan going, but you let McDaniels call the game. You're on the headset. You can interject in it, but he needs to watch the game. That way he can see the clock management. He doesn't have to worry about getting a play in there on time. He can get a feel for the game.
Right.
It seems to me he wants to be an offensive coordinator, and they hired him to be a head coach. He can walk down and he can talk to the defense. He can do things that – you watched Mike Vrabel last night?
Yeah.
Was he calling plays? No. He was involved with the game. He was talking to players, and I think if policy's going to bring him back, which I think he is, I think some of the conditions that they're talking about is, Matt, you need to update your coaching staff and you need to let an offensive coordinator actually do it. You're a head coach now. You're not some young coordinator. But I just noticed that, and I haven't heard anyone talk about it, but a lot of games he'll be in the back looking at that iPad instead of looking at the game. And
I've talked about that. Appreciate the phone call. I've talked about that a couple of times. I don't. He basically says, "Hey, Jeff, you have the offense or defense. I have the offense. Here we go." And on one hand, I don't have a problem with that because that shows a level of trust in your guy. But somebody made the assumption. Now, we view things differently, so I can't necessarily say it's all bad. But somebody said it kind of looks like Matt LaFleur sitting at the kiddie table at Thanksgiving. Like, oh, okay. I mean, I guess I
what on the iPad?
Yeah, when he's sitting on the iPad.
So did anyone feel that way when they're up 21-3 and he's play calling the team up and down the field? I don't know.
Right. It's I understand what people are saying. I understand you're getting there. Okay. But I don't know if I want to pick on that.
I guess you don't want to pick on that. This is what I said last week. Guys, if you have been someone who hates Matt LaFleur and has wanted him fired for years, and we know there's plenty of those people, I want you to have your day because this is your time. Please stop talking about his hair. Stop talking about the iPads, the eyebrows. There's so many good football things for you guys to latch onto right now. And you're missing the forest for the trees because you're yelling about the hair. I also, with that call from Tom, if you're going to take away his play calling, just fire him because that's the thing that he's best at. So that's how I would feel about that.
If you're going to take away the play calling, you're basically, if you take it away, you have snipped your head coach and you shouldn't have him as the head coach. If he turns around and says, I really need some help, I should probably get another mind in here. That's one thing. But if you don't, and you're going to do it on purpose and say, I'm snipping him of this and this and this, then you've already set him up for failure.
Then go hire someone who's experienced. Exactly. Go hire John Harbaugh if that's what you want. Because John Harbaugh is going to be better at that thing, I think, than Matt LaFleur would be not calling plays. 100%. That's what he's good at. That's what makes him good.
Right, 100%. So that's the reason I would say, no, I wouldn't do that. I know people want to look in that direction, but I wouldn't do that. So I wouldn't snip him of that. And, again, to me, I can't look at a team come out and look like when they pan over. Now, just saying this out loud, when they pan over and they showed the sidelines after the first or second drive On one hand, you saw a team that was like, we're not quitting, we're not giving up. They're firing each other up. They're yelling and screaming at each other in a good manner. You've got a head coach that's fired up. On the other hand, you looked, they even made a comment like, boy, it looks lifeless, I think is what Kirk Herbstreit said at one point. And it was, perception becomes reality. I mean, whether they were or they weren't, you're looking at two different sidelines. You're like, this sideline's down. They're not even in a game. And they're like playing like their lives depend on it. And this one's like, oh, please, God, let's let the clock strike zero. Just get it over with. Please, please, please. And I'm like, at what point do you just say, let's go beat the absolute dog blank out of them? Let's just go humiliate this team. It's not about, hey, we got a great lead. Way to go, way to go. It's like, it's nothing. Let's go absolutely positively whip their ass on every play from here on out. We are playing like our lives depend on it, like it's the last 2 minutes. You don't want to get unconservatively stupid, but I've seen this before where it's like, oh my God, we got a great lead. Let's hope we win. And I don't know. It just doesn't seem right to me. Let's do this. We're going to step away. We're going to take a quick break. Why? Because we got Eric Baranczyk of the Green Bay Press Gazette is going to join us when we come back. Stay tuned. I'm going to get Eric's take on this because I want to find out if I'm Doug says lifeless. A cadaver was more like it. Okay, there we go. Let's do this. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We got Eric Baranczyk of the Green Bay Press Gazette is going to join us. So don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. It is a Green and Gold Monday. And our last one of the season, unfortunately. Stay tuned. We got more after this.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
To say it would be it's a fiery day today might be an underestimation, to be perfectly honest with you. Welcome back. Bill Michaels Show. We are thankful that you hang with us. By the way, for everybody that participated all season long in the Greenville postgame show and such, thank you so much. As we had a tremendous season this year. It's been so much fun. And it's unfortunate that it's all come to an end, but it doesn't mean that we're not going to be here weekdays, and we still have some more huddles left. We're going to be out at in San Francisco in a few weeks. Even though the Packers won't be there, we'll be there with Super Bowl. So hopefully you can join us, and you can take a listen to the program and enjoy it in some way, shape, or form, as the Packers won't be there, but we will be. So we're looking forward to all of that as well. Joining us now on the hotline, we'll find out what his opinion of the loss on Saturday night was. Eric Baranczyk of the Green Bay Press Gazette. Eric, how you doing, man?
Well, let's see if we can go from fired up to nuclear here.
I had said, and I don't know if you saw what I did over the weekend yesterday. I went back and watched that, and I took Matt LaFleur's own words. I took the statistics of leads after half, the collapses. I can't run it back. I mean, I know I had policies probably figuring before that game, he was 90% sure that he was going to run it back. Maybe he's still got a question in his mind, but it sounds like they're working on a contract extension. But I don't know how you run it back after that loss. You tell me what you think.
I agree with you. You know, we've had the conversation. I think it was the early part of November. We were talking about this still, and you know, it's about being a leader of men, right? And not only that, but the other part is something isn't correct. Like in the communication, it's either the offensive coordinator to the head coach making the play calls, or the head coach just is stubborn and doesn't want to do what he doesn't want to do. But we've seen this. This is not the first time. It's freshest because it's 2 days ago. It hurts more because it's the Bears. Mm-hmm. But this has happened. This just goes all the way back to Aaron Rodgers. And when they're in tough games, how many times have we said Matt LaFleur got outcoached?
Yep.
This isn't the first time.
Right.
If it was the first time, I think the conversation would be much different. Oh, you got one bias. But the reality is They didn't when they recognized on that first series, the first 2 downs after the half, blitz. And okay, you did nothing different. Okay, so my because I'm standing there, much like more probably you and other guys, is all right. These guys are going to come hard now. So where's the short pass? Where's the quick slants? Where are the hot reads from the slot receiver? When Christian Watson's lined up just to the outside of the tight end and the outside backer that is clearly in his face blitzes, where's the quick slant there?
Right.
Where's the hot read? Where's the hot routes? They weren't there. When they finally got to it in the fourth quarter and they finally threw a few short passes and they threw the short one to Golden, he took it to the house. So and this is a lot of, a philosophy is if you're going to play, you're going to blitz, you're going to play a 2 shell over the top, we're just going to dink and dunk it to death. And eventually one of those safeties are going to bite. And then that's when the next play, all right, we're going to run a deep post. We're going to run, if you're going to do that, great. We're going to run wheel route out of the backfield. We're going to do all these different things, but the first thing has to happen is recognize what's happening and make the adjustment. You can't just keep feeding the fire with the wood that don't burn. You know what I'm saying? That part was frustrating. And then on the other side of the coin on defense is you got a rookie tight end that is just lighting you up. And when Cooper went down with his injury, that made it even worse because McDuffie had a couple of brain farts where he didn't get to his zone, and the tight end is streaking up the sideline, and he got to get there. But they didn't do anything different. The whole end of the third quarter and into the fourth quarter, I'm like, you mug up. There's a couple ways to take away that's killing you. Okay, you mug them up so that it throws off some of the timing, and don't let them off the line of scrimmage. You got a 5-yard cushion, beat them up.
Yeah.
You can double team them with safety, trail the linebacker underneath it. I mean, there's ways, and they did nothing.
It was in just watching them come out, and first of all, I completely agree with you. And I said this because it infuriated me yesterday going back and watching the game, and then more so last night watching Drake May, watching Josh Allen, watching Brock Purdy. And by the way, when you talk about a team and people say, well, it's you want to blame it on the injuries, I was like, wait a minute. You look at a team that went through all the injuries that San Francisco did. They were still able to go on the road and get a win, and he was very creative. Play action was a part of the staple of that offense with McCaffrey and the ability to run the football. Now, McCaffrey's a different back. I get it, but they still had him under center. They still had play action. They still had him on the move and rolling out. What is the obstinance in not doing things with the motion and the movement of Jordan Love to where they just flat out refuse to do it? And I don't want to get into the argument of what is and isn't play action, because we saw it work to perfection when you had everybody going off to the left and they rolled Christian Watson and Jordan Love out to the right for a touchdown, and it was a perfect thing. And I said, there it is. They didn't do it the rest of the game.
Especially when they were under center.
Yes.
So when they're under center, if you go back and watch, the Bears were coming hard off the edge. They were filling up the edge with the outside backers and safeties, which is perfect, right? Fine. We're going to do it. You're going to come off the edge. We're going to roll. You're going to come screaming down to take away the run because they got 193 yards on the ground in the first half. Spin it off the other way and make them pay for bringing safeties. If you're going to run a safety to the line of scrimmage, make them pay. Throw it over their head. Throw it behind them. And that's that. So part of the issue is, and I realize this, when you're the header and you're the play caller, that's tough. Because when the Packers are on defense, your play caller, who's the head coach, has still got to be the head coach. So that's where you rely on your offensive coordinator to digest what just happened, figure out a quick solution, and get that down to the play caller so that he can make adjustments. Not happening. It's either that or the head coach is maybe he's stubborn and doesn't want to do it. This is what we did in the first half, and we were beating them on man-to-man coverage. We had lots of time to throw the ball and blah, blah, blah. Jordan Love played a really nice game. I mean, he made some really excellent throws. Not all of them went their way, but they were really good. And he did enough to win the ball game, but just not enough.
Right.
And so it's just 21-6 at the beginning of the fourth quarter. Holy moly! And if you gotta rely on a 17-point lead to go into the fourth quarter to win it, That's you're asking an awful lot of your football team.
And we've seen this. I want to go to Jordan Love because I'll talk defense here in a minute, but I talked to a couple people yesterday that said Jordan Love, and I say this too, he's a really, really good quarterback. He's got all the talent in the world and everything. It's either the coaching and the way he's being coached, or there's something there that's not. That there's something missing. And again, I go back to, I saw Allen, I saw Drake May, I saw Caleb Williams, who's running and diving and reaching out and taking hits and, saying basically, look, I've made mistakes, but get on my back, man. I've got the it factor. Does Jordan Love, in your opinion, have the it factor?
I think they're throttling it down. I think the fear of that injury at the first week of the season from last year against Philadelphia Eagles down there in South America, I think that weighs heavy on them. I also know that,
scared. You know that. You can't play football scared.
100%, but there were times they're down in 2.
Yep.
Run for it, right? There's a handful of those, and you're right. The quarterback position has changed. No longer can you be Lynn Dickey or Tom Brady to go just sit there as a statue and get it done. I mean, defenses are too quick and too fast. Sometimes the quarterback, because there's only one guy on the field that's not accounted for, and that's your quarterback. There's no defense unless you are accounting for him, and then there's going to be holes everywhere else. But you're not accounting for him, so take advantage of that. And there are opportunities to run. When he does run, he's pretty good. He's got enough speed, but they just, what? I think the fear of not having him in behind center keeps them up at night, and then you're not going to run.
That's what I said. I can't blame Jordan Love because I don't know how he's being coached. So I can't look at him and go, well, you're afraid to run. I think it's like, hey, don't run and get hurt. But you can't play it scared because this is a guy that I believe has the capability to take that next level and be great to where we're talking about him going, he will not be denied. Look at all these quarterbacks we talk about, and Mahomes gets thrown into that mix too, where these guys just say, I will do anything and everything I can to will my team. And I think I think, and I agree with you that they're playing him scared. Like just don't do anything to get hurt. Don't go do anything to upset the apple cart. You can't play football that way.
Not in the postseason.
Nope. Completely agree.
No, you only have one crack at this, and you got to get there. And I think they left a lot of first downs on the field, and can't even talk about the kicker at this point because the kicker shouldn't have been a factor in it. 21-6 at half, the kicker can't be a factor in that game, but it ended up being a factor. And, it just boils down to, the decisions that were made, in the play calls. And not only that, but how fast those play calls were getting in. I mean, there was one play in the fourth quarter towards the end where, they had a close-up and I don't always watch the TV shot very often, but because it was in Chicago and it was too cold for me to go. I'm kidding, but I was watching the TV shot where he's in the huddle. It looks like he's starting to talk, and then he's looking to the sideline, and then he's four times. That's not because that's communication problems or changing the play or not feeling confident in your play call, and you change it up. There's just too much of that. At this point, 3 years in, he's cool, confident. Just let him go. But more importantly, it boils down to making an in-game adjustment, which really isn't an adjustment. It's just giving what the defense or taking what the defense is giving you. And they need to be able to do that faster.
I go back to the words of Matt LaFleur, and I went and listened to this intently, where he said, offensively, we came out in the second half and we just couldn't get anything going. They started bringing pressure. We weren't sliding out, which means the offensive line wasn't doing their job. And then he says, give them credit. It's unfortunate. If that isn't the admission of I got out coached, I don't know what is.
That's funny you say that because when I was listening to that Saturday evening, I just about spilled my drink.
Right.
I'm like, he just told everybody that I got out coached. And yes, they weren't sliding out because they were sitting there in a cup protection or like a 50 protection where they were just making a pocket rather than that's what you do when you're going to throw it long. They didn't have that opportunity, so it wasn't just them. And I think, Emmanuel Wilson made a couple of mental mistakes and didn't go block on the outside. There were a handful of that kind of stuff happening, and there was a bunch. And defense was even worse. There was stuff all over the place.
I left this game frustrated because this was a team that should have advanced. Now, I didn't expect them to get past Seattle, but they had an opportunity to close out Chicago, and it's painful because of Chicago, and I understand that. But this was something that I witnessed in Cleveland. I witnessed bad clock management down in Dallas. We all knew like death and taxes special teams was going to affect this game in some way, shape, or form. We saw poor defense against Dowdle and the run defense against Carolina. We saw this a pitiful defense happen against Derrick Henry and company. We saw things happen that we said, this is what's going to happen in this game. And I don't think there's one single Packers fan that thought after that first drive in the second half thought, oh, they're still going to win this game. Because I thought to myself right there at that point, oh, crap, here we go. It's game
3-0. Yep. You know, in the first half, the Packers' run defense was admirable.
Yes.
I mean, they came out and they were playing. And even in the second half, and then so they did. The game plan is, and you heard them, the players talk about it, was to make Williams beat you with his arm. And you know what? Maybe the first time ever he did it.
Yeah.
You know, they kept him they didn't allow him to run for 50 yards and blah, you know, none of that stuff. They were good, solid against the run game. The pile wasn't moving forward as much as it was the last time they played. It was much better, but when it came down to being able to get that final shot, they couldn't do it. Like I think it boils down to, Bill, looking at this and trying to digest it, is that they were so nervous about him running that they sat in zone. And I think there's some fear with what happens out on the perimeter with their cornerbacks that they felt they had to sit in zone. You know, when you're sitting in zone and you got a running quarterback, you really feel better about that because you got 22 eyeballs facing the ball.
Right.
You know, when you're in man coverage, you know, now there's not as many. So and when you looked at the linebackers, even their depths were a little bit more shallow. And I think the specter of having Williams being able to break the pocket and run upfield was something that played on their mind, and that hurt. That really hurt because he was able to beat him with his arm.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. And the best weapon they had in the first half of that game was their offense. And that did not put the defense in bad situations at all. And I don't know. I've got a hard time with this one because they should have won this game. And that's where it just bothers me. This was a game that could have been had, and it wasn't. And they let it slip through their fingers and made excuses after the fact. And that's what I think bothers me the most about it. Eric, it's been great. We're going to definitely get you back on more, but it's been one hell of a season, man. And we always appreciate your time and love having you on. And we're going to bring you back again next year. And hopefully we're all here and we survive the off season.
Yeah, we certainly will. Winter's going to be a little longer now that the season's over, but hey, we'll be all right. And it's going to be a fun off season, that's for sure. And I also want to tell you, thank you very much for allowing me to come on and vent. And it's been my pleasure, 100%. And thank you very much. And look forward to working with you guys again in the future.
As soon as we figure out what's going on, coaching and staff wise, we'll get you back on real soon. Okay.
All right. Enjoy the rest of your week.
There you go. Thanks, bud. Talk to you soon. There you go. Eric Baranczyk, the Green Bay Press Gazette, breaking down film, and did it as well and better than I could have because he got more specific in a lot of the different details. But it's exactly what we thought. Man, tough stuff. Let's do this. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break. We're going to come back. We got a lot more to get to. Don't go anywhere. It's a Green and Gold Monday on the Bill Michaels Show.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Truck drivers, no matter where you want to take your career in 2026, Schneider has an opportunity for you. Our huge selection of driving jobs means you can get the home time that suits your schedule. Choose from daily, weekly, monthly, or sometime in between. Looking for more reliability on the road? Check out our new dedicated and regional van truckload opportunities. Don't miss out. Find your perfect driving job today at SchneiderJobs.com. That's SchneiderJobs.com.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. Bill Michaels Show. It is a green and gold Monday, and hopefully you're enjoying your day, at least through therapy, I guess might be the best way to put it. But nevertheless, we appreciate you being here with us and hanging out with us and all that kind of good stuff. So thanks for being here, for lack of a better term. This program is brought by our good friends over there at Stenny's. Stenny's had a huge Packer party over the weekend. I saw some of the pictures from down there. The one downtown specifically on 2nd and National in Walker's Point, huge party, and they had a big stuffed bear and everything that people were taking shots at and everything. It just didn't work out. And they just said, hey, look, better luck next year. But they're still there for all the Bucs games, the Brewers games, the Admirals games, and Badger games, and all that kind of good stuff. And we'll live to fight another day. But our friends at Stenny said, hey, come on over, drown your sorrows in a Bloody Mary, or maybe it's the Great Wings, and just get some comfort food, for lack of a better term, on 2nd and National, Walker's Point, Watertown Road. That's in Pewaukee and Lake Country. The new one is coming in a couple of months, about a month away, as a matter of fact. They're hoping to get it done before Super Bowl. I don't know if they will, but that's going to be the new one in Mequon. That's our friends at Stenny's. As they say, you should be here. So coming up after the top of the hour, got a little bit of an announcement for you. Maybe it'll make you happy. I don't know if you're a Packers fan. I know it makes us happy. We're excited about it. So, a new venture coming in 2026. So we're excited, and we're going to kick things off coming up in March, as a matter of fact. But for the time being, we're going to make the announcement. And that's coming up after the top of the hour. So don't go anywhere. It's not huge. It's big for us. I don't know if it's big for you or not, but it's big for us. So we're going to talk about that coming up here in just a little bit. I've got text messages and emails galore. If you want to chime in and make a phone call, you can, 877-867-1670. The next hour of the show is you and me and Grant. And we are basically going to have text messages, emails, phone calls, our opinions, your opinions, as the Packers. The news of the day really is that, at least according to Adam Schefter, who is reporting this, that the Packers are efforting a new contract extension for Matt LaFleur. And we've talked about that a little bit and such. But by the way, So Matt LaFleur was not committal when asked specifically about Rich Bisaccia. Okay. Part of it was Matt LaFleur doesn't even know if he's going to be the head coach. The other part of it is he's not committing to that. Special teams this year was an absolute train wreck. Matt LaFleur was asked what he needs to do to change things going forward. He said, I think we have to look at everything from how we train to how we practice. And these conversations I've already had with some of our people, just finding different ways to do things. He talked about, everything is on the table. If the Packers had to replace Jeff Hafley, if they lose him into a head coaching gig, possibly he's expecting to, move on. He said, I fully anticipate, I think Hafley is going to do a great job on the interview process. I fully anticipate him getting one, meaning a head coaching job. But we don't know what's going to be next. We don't know what's going to be next. Now, here's one thing. Micah Parsons said one of the reasons he wanted to come to Green Bay was because he wanted to play for Matt LaFleur. Matt is one of the best guys and people as a person I've been around since I've been in this league. He said, I reached out to him when I started seeing this and said, man, when I agreed to come here, you're a part of the reason why I wanted to come here. I want to be a part of this and I want you to be here. I love you. I think you're a great coach. That's according to Micah Parsons. We got more to talk about. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. We'll be back coming up right after this.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, the Packers reportedly working to keep Matt LaFleur as their head coach. That was a report from ESPN this morning. LaFleur's contract has 1 year left on it. NFL coaches rarely work as lame ducks. LaFleur, 76-40-1 in his career with the Packers, but hasn't won the NFC North since 2021. Made an NFC title game since 2020 and just blew an 18-point second-half lead to the Bears in the playoffs. But many analysts believe the Packers did move on from LaFleur. He would be one of the top head coaching candidates. For his part, LaFleur doesn't want to leave.
Of course. I mean, this is one-on-one. I love this place. I love the people. As much as you guys drive me nuts sometimes, I love you guys. I love our players, the locker room, everybody in our organization. I mean, this is a unique place.
New team president, Ed Policy, is the one that will make the call on LaFleur. Meanwhile, defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley expected to interview for multiple head coaching jobs. LaFleur said he expects him to get one of those. Meanwhile, Wisconsin, they're up to 24 transfer portal additions, includes a pair of quarterbacks in Colton Joseph from Old Dominion and Deuce Adams from Louisville.
Truck drivers, no matter where you want to take your career in 2026, Schneider has an opportunity for you. Our huge selection of driving jobs means you can get the home time that suits your schedule. Choose from daily, weekly, monthly, or sometime in between. Looking for more reliability on the road? Check out our new dedicated and regional van truckload opportunities. Don't miss out. Find your perfect driving job today at SchneiderJobs.com. That's SchneiderJobs.com.
Well, Milwaukee finished out its road trip yesterday with a loss to Denver. They'll now come home to face the Timberwolves tomorrow. And Wisconsin can be back in action tomorrow night as they travel to face Minnesota. Badgers coming off an upset of then unbeaten Michigan in Ann Arbor. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heilpern.
Welcome in. Bill Michaels Show. So glad you're on board today. I know it's not great, but I get it. It's it's kind of that kind of day today. I understand it, but we're so glad that you're with us. And to all of you who have paid attention to the program today, over the weekend specifically, everything that's going on, it's been fantastic. So we certainly appreciate you being here. And thanks so much for hanging out with us, because we love it. Absolutely love it. So I want to get into two things. One is this hour, it's you, Grant, and myself. And we are basically going to take calls. What are you giggling at?
Okay, so I feel so bad. So I shot you a message. You didn't see it, and you're laying out the plan for this hour. Mike is here. He just got out of the locker room.
Okay.
He just talked with Parsons and Kraft, and he has something he wants to tell you and to tell you what's coming up on the show. Can I put you on with Mike just for a couple minutes here?
Whenever Mike calls, we drop it.
I'm sorry.
It's like, ladies and gentlemen, the God among men when it comes to Green Bay Packers coverage, our guy, Mike Clemens, joining us, and he deserves that kind of fanfare and intro for what he had to put up with specifically on Saturday night. Michael, how you doing, pal?
You're too kind, big unit. Okay, I just left the media door here at the stadium at Lambeau Field, and I want to give you a little timeline the last 48 hours here in a second. But usually on the clean out the locker day, it's like, the backup right tackle, the punter, and it's a couple of guys with big black garbage bags, and they're throwing their clothes in there because they're clearing out. I've talked to everybody today. Maybe it's because it was a day after, maybe because of the significance of what just happened with this game. But I'm going to get for you interviews with Micah Parsons, Tucker Kraft, a little bit of Devontae Wyatt, I can right now. I can give you the headlines on some of these guys that we got. We got a chance to talk to just about everybody today. Xavier McKinney, on and on. So first, I'll recap. Like, as you have, I told you last week, there was a sense that they were working on a deal for an extension for LaFleur. I got the sense that, as gut-wrenching as Saturday night's loss was, and in talking to LaFleur last night in a press conference for over a half hour, the reports like ESPN that Rob Demoski had talked about on the air last week and last night here in Green Bay on Channel 2, that, I think Ed Policy sees the injuries that happened. And despite, the way that game turned out, talking about what an extension would look like, that, LaFleur's agents have one point of view, the team has something else, but they're working on that. And then Schefter, spotted that today. So with that in mind, you talk to these players today, and, you have to bring it up. But like just Tucker Kraft said, Matt has been nothing but good to me and my family, and he checks in and he cares about you as a player and challenges you. And, I don't know anything else. I couldn't ask for better. And Tucker Kraft is more determined and more focused and more confident in his ability. And he thought that he was just on his way to one of the best seasons of a tight end ever when he went down with that ACL. And the same is true with Micah Parsons. And go from there. What are your first questions you have about those guys? Because I just got done talking about them for 20 minutes.
I saw Micah Parsons put out that one of the reasons he came to Green Bay and agreed to that was because of Matt LaFleur.
Yes, yeah. And then we said, well, Jeff Hafley, your defensive coordinator's got 5 interviews. He says, yeah, Jeff's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. So I don't. But you know what? He's used to this because Dan Quinn came and left. And I was surprised to say, that he thought he had got some good instruction from Mike Zimmer, who was McCarthy's last hire at defensive coordinator before Mike lost his job with Jerry Jones. But in terms of the Micah Parsons story, he's in that Broncos game. He said, just don't let it be the ACL. He knew he had some pain. He thought, maybe it's a sprain, whatever. And it's not until they start, doing those initial exams and they say, oh boy, this doesn't look good, that, your heart sinks. Now, he's talking about, look, man, I can't shower by myself. I can't get out of bed by myself. He's talking about that long road to recovery and what it takes. And, frankly, I remember Rashawn Gary talking about this when, he was coming out of the hospital in a wheelchair and that his mom was there. And he broke down crying. He's always been this big, strong athlete, football player, and having to adjust to that. But Micah says he feels good about the doctors he's had. He's doing, by the way, a lot of these guys, they're still here in Green Bay. Mm-hmm. They're doing a lot of the rehab here in Green Bay. Tucker Kraft has been doing. Tucker says, I've been here, every day for the last 2 years straight. And I'd like to get to a point where he says, where maybe we can get away, though, from Green Bay, just for my mind, and go to someplace warm. And I'll do my rehab there there, but just get a little vitamin D, some sunshine. Right. I think that sounds smart. Maybe if you spend some time in Arizona. As for Micah Parsons, he says, I get up at 6:30 and it's 4 hours of rehab. And then I take a lunch break and then I take a nap and I start doing 3 or 4 hours of more rehab at home. And he says, I'm thinking maybe week 2, week 3, maybe start out on PUP. And the same with Tucker. And I said, how much has Christian Watson been an inspiration? And they both said, huge. I mean, they've got a guy right there across the way that can talk them through the steps of this thing and what it feels like. And their team of doctors and experts that tell them, that's the other thing is it's not quite there yet, but it's starting to sink in. And, Tucker's injury a little further ahead of Micah's, but it's starting to sink in. There's a path. Okay, here's where you need to be after the first month, after the first 90 days. Here's where you hope to be 6 months from now. Here's where you might have some setbacks. Here's where there'll be some pain and that kind of thing. And they're talking about this rehab right now is painful. It's painful.
Yeah. Yeah, if you've ever had an ACL, it's not something that's it's not something that's easy. It's you got to continually stretch, you got to continually move, you got to continually work the muscles and everything around it. You got to build it all back up, and even then, a year out, you're still not 100% sure that thing is just going to be okay. So it's almost conditioning your body and your mind to go along with it. So coming out of that locker room, Mike, I know there's a lot of love for the head coach. I understand that. The bottom line is you and I have witnessed this. Baranczyk was on a little earlier. It's wash, rinse, repeat. They have had these failures now consistently where this team gets punched in the face in the second half and they faced adversity and they haven't had a response. I don't necessarily base my rehiring or extension on Matt LaFleur on the likability. I look at it now as a results-oriented business, which Matt LaFleur uses that as an excuse all the time. So I guess the media says, hey, Matt, do you think you'll be back? My question would be, hey, Matt, do you think you deserve to be back? You know what I mean?
Yeah, did you see Ben Johnson in the locker room with his Bears players after that win?
Yep.
There's these little things that you look for that you get the actual slices of. And Matt's had plenty of celebrations and where you see guys are playing for him, the gratitude of getting a game ball, of playing for that coach. But man, and Ben Johnson is first year, and there's a lot of Cinderella to that. And, they've turned that thing around in 1 year, just like the Seahawks have, just like the Patriots have.
Matt LaFleur did too.
Just like the Jaguars did, just like Matt LaFleur did. A season where you miss the playoffs to the next thing you know, the year after that, the quarterback, has 2 back-to-back MVP seasons and is, playing at the top of his game. But you come up short. You come up short on a controversial play-calling decision against the Buccaneers right here, and Tom Brady goes on, and wins a Super Bowl on your welcome, Matt. On your welcome, Matt. So that's being decided right now by Ed Policy. And I got to imagine, like I told you, a month ago, listen, if you're the new president and CEO of the Packers, the next day you start over, the job is you start depth charts for everybody.
Right.
Okay, what if I need to change general manager, vice president of finances, and you hire these headhunters and you got that list and you watch how these guys perform during the season before you decide, to start to make any of those decisions. I got to assume that he still thinks that, hey, Matt LaFleur would get hired before, he got to his car in the parking lot by one of these 6 or 7 other teams' openings. And I've got to really assess, okay, what am I going to replace him with? Mm-hmm. And maybe the answer is, I don't know. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can answer that. The other thing is maybe what's best for the team might include the terms of this extension, like how many swings at the bat, how many at-bats is Matt LaFleur going to get in running this organization? And that's probably being determined right now. We talked to right tackle Zach Tom. He's going to have surgery. It's going to take 6 months to recover. It's a tear, not a complete tear, but, we're getting information like that. So let me go and get these things ready because sometimes the guys drop a little less bombs and things like that
right.
as broadcasters we can't do. But then I'll get those interviews for you after the 1 o'clock hour. And then maybe I can come back on sometime tomorrow's show and do some more recap and little snippets of the other players and things like that as this stuff is developed. And we'll also probably talk a little about how Aaron Rodgers performed tonight in the Steelers game.
Yep, we're going to see maybe the last game of Aaron Rodgers. Who knows? We'll wait and see. Mike, we'll talk to you in a bit, okay?
Thank you, Bill.
Appreciate it, pal. There you go. Mike Clemens joining us for a couple of minutes, coming out of the locker room. And, Mike just kind of reports the facts. So I'm watching people go crazy. First of all, he wasn't making an excuse for the Packers to lose because of the injuries. He was just telling you about the injuries, about guys that are actually there inside the Packers locker room. And I'm watching the live stream go crazy with, everybody's got an opinion and mad and pissed off. And, again, this is where we talk about reality versus delusion. So the delusion stuff, don't get so upset about. The reality is, and again, going back to what Eric Baranczyk said, and we talked about it with Mike, it's like, look, you can only want, I get guys like Matt LaFleur. That team didn't quit. They didn't quit, but they looked like a deer in the headlight. They took on the persona of their head coach. I'm sorry, but they did. And we've seen this before. I have never said the team quit on them. I said that time and again that I've never seen this team just maybe an individual player or two at times not show an effort, but for the most part, you didn't see a team quit. You can talk about the injuries, but they're an excuse, but they're not, because this was not about injuries. So you can say guys got hurt during the game. Yeah, I get it. But I still, again, I'm in the camp of what am I expecting different next year? And unless everybody's healthy and this team doesn't get devastated in some way, shape, or form by injuries. But my question would be, so when this team does face adversity, do I expect the same? Or is this team going to be the front running team where they just blow everybody out and everything looks great because they don't have to face the adversity? Because when they have faced adversity in significant moments that we have seen, it's been bad clock management, bad special teams, offense that can't fire on all cylinders. It's been a lot of the same old, same old. The game that they truly got beat was against Baltimore. They got their ass handed to them, and it looked like they just went, okay, this is our clunker. They didn't need it at that time, but that was their clunker. So let's do this. We'll step away. We'll take a quick break. I do, because Mike kind of came in, so I wanted to make sure we got Mike in, because when Mike calls, we want to get him. But I do also want to make a little announcement too, in regards to coming up for the season, so to speak. So don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. We got a whole lot more of the Bill Michaels Show on this Monday, on this green and gold edition. Sorrowful day. I completely get it. It is a Monday. They've got football on tonight. If you're going to head out at all, Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar and Grill in Pewaukee, on Pewaukee Lake, Lakeview Boulevard, to be perfectly exact. Right there, they had a great weekend. They did some meat raffles over the weekend for some charitable events, but good stuff today on we'll call it kind of a manic Monday when it comes to Packers feelings around here. But if you're going to head out tonight, you're going to venture out, maybe check out Aaron Rodgers and possibly his last game ever as an NFL player, if indeed they lose and he decides to walk away. Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar and Grill in Pewaukee Lake. That's one of the good places to go and see it, on Lakeview Boulevard in Pewaukee.
Ready? This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome in. Bill Michaels Show. So glad you're on board with us. We certainly appreciate you being here. Very much so.
Trio Williams.
This portion of the program brought to you by our friends over there at Potawatomi. Well, there was a big crowd in there on Saturday night. Holy mackerel. A lot of people in there. First half bets, second half bets, all that kind of good stuff over there at the Sportsbook at Potawatomi Hotel Casino in Milwaukee. They also have the big place in Carter, Wisconsin. Don't forget about that as well if you're heading to the Northwoods. Carter's a great place to go. Even we were there last year. But nevertheless, Potawatomi, terrific place. A lot of entertainment under one roof. Thursday nights, they do the prime rib over there at the Dream Dance Steakhouse, which I got to get back to. It's fantastic. So check out our friends at Potawatomi Hotel, the casino. They have entertainment. They have gaming. They have the restaurants and the bars and just everything that goes along with it. That's our friends at Potawatomi Hotel, Casino, Sportsbook, you name it. They've got it. That's Potawatomi. So, I want to do this real quick because we don't do this, very often. There you go. So it's not huge. It's big for us. But next season, I want to announce this because, as you know, we have been for the last, 5 years? We've been at Burkle's Sports Bar in Green Bay. And Burkle's sold, and we wish Kevin and his staff nothing but the best because they're just great people over there. And we kind of waited to see if we were going to be contacted by the new owners, and I have not. And immediately we got some calls and the people that wanted the show. And one of the cool things that happened was there's a place inside Titletown called Home Field Pub and Social. Top Golf. Restaurant, Top Golf and everything. And they are now, we just inked the deal over the weekend. They are now the official home of the Green and Gold postgame show. Home Field Pub and Social. They're a sponsor. They're going to be with us now for throughout the year, throughout the Packer season. That's where, and it's right there in Titletown. We were actually, I guess, nudged by somebody of higher ilk that said, hey, you got to get the Bill Michaels show and the postgame show into Home Field Pub and Social. And if you've never been there, it is a tremendous place. It's Top Golf and a restaurant and everything that goes along with it, with great food, burgers, pub items, but also a lot of hospitality, a lot of games, a lot of entertainment, and a terrific gathering spot before and after every Packers home game, and even for the Packers away games for that matter. But Home Field Pub and Social, they are now the official home, the official new home of the Green and Gold postgame show, and we will be there after every Packers home game. And I think we are going to kick things off in our partnership, not only today and our opportunities here, but also we are going to be kicking it off, I believe, for March Madness, if I'm not mistaken. And don't forget, today, if you're in Green Bay, every Monday at Home Field Pub and Social, you get the free hour in one of the upgraded and renovated Top Golf Swing Suites with any food and beverage purchase of $20 or more. Special runs all day, by the way. So it doesn't just start later this afternoon or this evening for happy hour. No, it's all day. But if you stop by during happy hour, which is 3 to 6, you'll even get more value, like $3 for 16-ounce domestic beers, $5 for old fashions, half-price appetizers. So great way to start your week, even though we're all drowning our sorrows. And that's Home Field Pub and Social, Restaurant and Topgolf, right inside Titletown. And they are the new official home of the Green and Gold postgame show and the Bill Michaels Sports Talk Network. So there you go. It was that quick. It was, hey, you're out. Have you heard anything? No, we haven't. Have they reached out? No, they haven't. So boom, got a place to go. There you go. There you go. That was pretty worthy there, Grant, right?
I think so.
Of our fanfare.
Looks like a cool setup.
Yeah, it's a really nice place. And if you've never been there, it's in Titletown. We were recommended, I guess, pushed in that direction. I don't know whoever it was, fantastic. And I know that our buddy up there who has been so instrumental, we'll say, in getting us in up there. And that is Jason Crooks, who's the manager up there. He's the GM, as a matter of fact. I've known Jason for a few years. We did some stuff with them way back when, but Jason was one of the guys that said, hey, if that show's available, we got to get him in over here. And again, it's a great place. It's right inside Titletown. We are now the feature inside Titletown. It's awesome, and we're really looking forward to it. So fantastic stuff. 855 or 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Let's go to Mike in Reedsville. Mike, thank you for holding, because I know you've been there since Moses was a baby, so I appreciate you hanging out with us.
Hey, good morning, Bill and Grant. Hey, first I want to say congrats on the new location. That's awesome to hear. The second thing I can say is, having you in the Green Bay market recently over the past year or two has been great, so thanks for that as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, so Ramchek stole my thunder, but I think I've got an evolving comment that will strike a chord with you. So let's put ourselves in the seat of policy, right? The decision, his first big decision, right? And human factors that weigh in on those decisions. There's a lot I don't know. My time was in the military. That's what I know. What I know is leadership. You hit it already, in-game management. We are in the tail of two eras, the Rodgers era, 13-3, et cetera, and since then. And what has remained consistent in those two eras, when you're policy thinking about it, is in-game management and LaFleur's inability to make the tough decision before that coordinator, such like Barry, fires himself. LaFleur's job is to read the leading indicators, not the lagging indicators, and have those tough conversations. And the same reason why Kraft and Parsons, et cetera, love him is the same reason why Alexander got out of control, Nixon had dumb penalties, and he can't look at Bisaccia and say, I'm sorry, Rich, it's time to go. And the last thing I'll leave you with, and we'll hang up, is something that hasn't been talked about. I think this directly applies to policy, the Andy Reid effect. LaFleur is going to get hired. Are you confident enough to be okay with his results elsewhere? Bill, thanks. Grant, I love your comments as well. I appreciate the opportunity, so I turn it over to you for any thoughts on that.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I said yesterday in the piece that I did, if they decide that Matt LaFleur is the guy, I will support it. I will root for them. I will hope for nothing but the best. As somebody who looks at a team and says, we've seen this, been there, done that. We saw a field goal kicked in an NFC championship game against Tampa Bay. Again, the communication between the quarterback and the head coach. We saw plays not getting in on time between the quarterback and the head coach. We saw an offense that went stagnant against a Cleveland team. We saw a number of problems we all pointed our fingers at when San Francisco came to town years ago in a snow globe game that should have clearly been handled by the Green Bay Packers so much better, only to have the San Francisco head coach at the end of the game say, no, we saw this all season long. We knew we could exploit it, and them not to close that loophole. And to all of us saying, Mo Drayton can't be the guy. You can't do this. We saw a guy like McVay can his guy mid-season because of the ineptitude of their special teams. Now it came back to bite them a little bit in that game against Philadelphia, only for the fact that you saw them have a kick blocked. But nevertheless, he made a move. You can't put up with this anymore. You saw clock mismanagement in Dallas cost you a game. We saw things throughout the season. We kept saying, we hope to God it doesn't happen, but like death, taxes, and special teams, it's going to rear its ugly head, and it did again. These things can't be forgiven. Fool me once, shame on you, Fool me twice, 3 times, 5 times, 7 times, shame on me. I think Matt LaFleur is a really good coach. I think he's a player's coach. I think there's a ton of respect in the locker room for him. His team didn't quit on him. We're not judging him as to whether or not his team did or didn't quit on him. That's not what we're judging him on. And as Matt LaFleur has stated himself, using his own words, it is a results-oriented business. The results aren't there right now. And when your team is on fire in the first half, only for you again, as I go back to, and I use his own words to say, offensively, we came out in the second half and we could just not get anything going. They started bringing pressure and we weren't sliding out to it. Give them credit. It's unfortunate. That is the complete admission of, I got out-coached. I didn't have the answers to their pressures. Wait, what? He said we were doing so great in the first half, and in the second half, it was a different story. I'm sorry. That's your job, man. I personally couldn't run it back. That's me. If Ed Policy does, I'll support it, but I will be the first 800-pound gorilla to jump all over, if the same scenarios keep raising their ugly head, only to say you're a 7 seed and a 1 and done. And then what? I'm not going to sit here and blame it on all the injuries, because the injuries in the game, offensively speaking, didn't play a massive factor in this game. The offense was able to move the football. All the injuries, the major injuries, were on defense. Now, you did lose your center and your backup center. That I understand. But you already had, and you can't talk about Zach Tom. Yeah, it's a shame he didn't play, but you already knew during the week that he probably wasn't. He was ailing. Mike Clemens told us that. When Matt LaFleur said, he should be ready to go. Now, whether that was gamesmanship or not, I don't know. But when Mike Clemens comes back and says, I don't know. When they went to Zach Tom and said, hey, Zach, sounds like you're going to play this week. That's what the coach said. And he went, well, yeah. You knew. There was the steaming pan load right there. No, something, there's some, no, I can smell it. There's some crap in the air. So I just look at it and go, how do you run that back? How do you do that? And ask everybody to swallow that pill. Because either the results are going to be there. Either you look at Micah Parsons and you say, man, you're going to be back. You're going to be ready to go. You're going to lead this team and it's going to be fire. And you're going to look at Tucker Kraft coming back on fire. And you're going to look at Jordan Love going, dude, we're going to take the reins off. If that's what the coaching is doing, as Eric Baranczyk alluded to, we're going to take the reins off. Dude, go be the leader we want you to be. We want you to be vocal. We want you to get in guys' asses. We want you to be diving and rolling around on the ground and doing anything and everything you can to get yourself a win. I don't care what it is. As long as it's not insignificant moments, go out there and be the guy we want you to be. Go out there and take the step from really, really good to greatness. We want you to go be great. Go be great. All of that. If that's the case, I'm all in. I'm diving. I'm putting on the snorkel, the goggles, head first into the pool, man. Head first in. But if it's not, and you see the same mistakes, and you see the same clock mismanagement, and you see the same lackluster offense that just completely becomes lifeless. It's one thing if you do it on a drive. It's another thing when you do it over and over and over again. What are you doing? They're doing the same thing. Why are you doing the same thing? Because they're kicking your ass, That's why the Bears made adjustments. That's why they said, we can't keep doing the same thing. We're going to keep getting beat. And Kirk Herbstreit alluded to it numerous times in the broadcast when I heard it yesterday. So that's where I'm at when people say, well, it's like, no, you don't. It's the same thing. And if it doesn't change in some way, shape, or form, or the results become much, much more varied and more successful, you can't defend it anymore. You can't defend it anymore. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. JJ says, is it like policy is afraid to rock the boat? I don't think he wanted to come in and make a change. Nobody wants to. You want to take over an organization that basically is just driving itself. It's almost in cruise control, and there's massive successes, and you're like, just don't rock the boat. But at this point, I don't know. And again, if the whole thing with the contract extension and everything plays out, and there's changes on the staff and everything, okay, maybe it gets a little bit different. But also, don't take away that 1% modicum of theory that could say, hey, there's some teams out there that might be interested in Matt LaFleur, and maybe you garner some draft choices in the back. I don't know. We'll wait and see. 877-867-1670. Let's do this. We'll break because I'm a little bit late for it. We'll get back. Tony in Green Bay. We've got people that have texted, people that have emailed, all of that kind of stuff. Stay tuned. We got a whole lot more of the Bill Michaels Show. This portion of the program, he was sick about this game too. He was texting me this morning, as a matter of fact. A Packers fan, a Brewers fan through and through. Our buddy Dwayne at Dwayne's Cover It All, who said, I don't even know how you do it. I don't even know. You just like, he's still sick. He's like, I'd start talking about it and I'd go crazy. You'd be losing listeners. So if you want to talk sports, you want to get a dose of reality in that sense, and as far as the passion and the angst go and the angers go, give our buddy Dwayne a call. 715-870-2119. Dwayne's Cover It All, whether it's boat covers, awnings in front of your business to dress up your business, office furniture being redone, or whatever it is you have. Let's go to Dwayne's, Duanes, Dwayne'sCoverItAll.com. That is Dwayne's CoverItAll.com. Call him direct, 715-870-2119. 715-870-2119.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
4 years. That's enough time to earn a college degree, to serve a full term as a president, to train for something big and become someone new.
You bet, and get 0% interest for 4 years at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, so you can invest in your home and in life's biggest moments. With exclusive features and customizations, Pella offers the highest quality products at a price you can afford.
Aim high when setting your New Year's resolution and imagine what you can do in 4 years when you finance your home project with Pella. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Truck drivers, no matter where you want to take your career in 2026, Schneider has an opportunity for you. Our huge selection of driving jobs means you can get the home time that suits your schedule. Choose from daily, weekly, monthly, or sometime in between. Looking for more reliability on the road? Check out our new dedicated and regional van truckload opportunities. Don't miss out. Find your perfect driving job today at SchneiderJobs.com. That's SchneiderJobs.com.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. Want to remind you, this portion of the program, the Bill Michaels Show, brought to you by our friends at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Go to PellaWI.com. And at Pella, they have a great selection of windows, different lines, different makes, from custom historical windows all the way down to the vinyl windows. They've got Impervia windows. They have many different types to fit your style, to fit your budget. Whether it's curb appeal or innovation or just the economical factor, they've got something for everybody. And the best part about it is they've got free in-home consultations and 0% financing. So take advantage, man. You don't even have to leave your home. Call them up and say, hey, I've got some windows here. I don't know if they're going to be good or bad, or hey, if you can even test and see if they're leaking air, or, and I'm telling you, it's worth it. And I didn't replace the entire house because I didn't have to. I fixed a couple of doors and a couple of windows, and the house is just so much better. Check out our friends at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Go to PellaWI.com. That is PellaWI.com, or call them direct. Call them direct. Go to 855-PELLA-WI. That's 855-PELLA-WI. And check it out for yourself. So there you go. Okay, I want to get to the phone calls. Then I'm going to get to text messages and emails. Okay, Tony's in Green Bay. Tony, welcome to the program, man. What you thinking?
Hey there, Brian Grant. Thanks for having me.
You bet. What's on your mind?
Look, I'm just a fan here. The X's and O's and practice habits are beyond me, so I'm not even going to pretend to know what Matt LaFleur needs to do differently. But it's been 7 years of the same issues. So I can confidently say Matt LaFleur also does not know what he needs to do differently. And that right there is a major problem. So I can only put my feelings into actions that a businessman like Ed Policy can understand. I live in Green Bay. I spend a good chunk of money every year at the Packers Pro Shop, but I won't be spending another dollar there unless Matt LaFleur is fired, traded, or the Packers win a Super Bowl. So I hope Ed and the people at 1265 Lombardi Ave know what they're doing this offseason. Thank you. I'm going to hang up and I'll listen to the radio.
No, I appreciate it. That's your right. I don't know what to say. I mean, I feel like there's fans that are kind of in the same boat with you. I feel like I've always said, look, your money is your vote. I would never tell people how to spend their money. The only thing I ever say is don't sell your tickets to other fans. Sell your tickets to people that want to go to the game. But I can't argue. I can't argue that fact.
This is what we talked about in, I think, the second segment of the first hour, when we get all these calls from people who think, well, the Packers only care about getting to the playoffs, and that's right. And I've heard those calls forever. I don't believe that. You don't believe that. But what am I supposed to tell someone who thinks that when they call in?
Yeah, I don't have a way to refute that.
They've been the 7th seed for 3 straight years. First round exit, 3 straight years.
Yes, first round exits and the whole thing. And you know, when Mike was on, you know, we talk about, well, Ben Johnson's great. Well, let's see what Ben Johnson does in the years to come. You know, and I said this a while ago, Bears fans, enjoy the ride because you don't know if it's going to last. You know, we've seen this where teams come in, they get a new head coach, you get a burst of life, and then things begin to settle, you know, and they're riding that wave. They're riding the honeymoon right now. We don't know if next year is going to be good or bad. We couldn't tell you. You know, Dan Campbell came in, took over a team, they hit rock bottom, and then they climbed out of it. The window was wide open. It was going to be a 5-year run, and in a couple of years, they are not even back in the postseason. So you just don't know what it's going to lead to. The one thing I can say is they've had continued success in Green Bay, but that the expectation is not to get to the postseason. The expectation is we're in this thing to win a Super Bowl. It's time again. And whether that's arrogance or whatever you want to call it, being spoiled, no, it's like this team, you know, basically Brian Gutekunst laid down the mantra going into the season is it's time to get serious about winning Super Bowls. And they did. They picked up guys they thought would help. They thought they had a plan in place to say, we're going to get better on the offensive line. We're going to get Micah Parsons. We got all these different things in place. We're ready to go. And it didn't work out. I understand that, but they had an opportunity. I don't think they were going to win a Super Bowl anyway. Okay. And once the injuries hit, going into this Bears game, I didn't think they were going to win a Super Bowl, but they certainly should have beaten the Bears. They lost not because the Bears beat them, but because of their own ineptitude. And there was one team that said we will not be denied, and another team said let's just hang on and see what happens. And that's what has people pissed off. We didn't believe they were going to go into Seattle and beat Seattle. So I can't argue that point that if this guy's, you know, if he's so upset that he's going to say, look, I'm not going to spend my money. I'm not going back to the pro shop. I'm not going to, you know, buy additional tickets. You know, Tony, you have the right to do that. And I can't defend that. I can't defend a lot of that stuff anymore. I just can't. Coming up after the top of the hour, by the way, Mike Clemens. We're not going to have Mike today. Mike's going to come back either tomorrow or another time. But Mike did get the exit interviews with some of these guys, with Tucker Kraft, Micah Parsons and company. And we're going to hear those and get their thoughts. And you're going to hear from inside the locker room coming up in the last hour of the program. I think that'll be more fitting to listen to some of the players and such.
Ringing Matt LaFleur endorsements from Parsons and Kraft.
Yeah.
Who I think are outside of quarterback, probably 2 of your bigger leaders, right?
Yep.
So whatever that means to you, I'm not telling you that should change your mind, but I think it's interesting to hear from the players who work with him directly.
Yes. And I go back to Ryan Wood had put this out. He said Micah Parsons with some strong words of approval from Matt LaFleur to return as the Packers head coach, something he previously reached out to LaFleur privately to share. He said, quote, when it comes to Matt LaFleur keeping his job, Micah Parsons said, I believe so. I have my fair share of coaches and people around this league that I've been around, and Matt is one of the best guys and people as a person I've been around since I've been in this league. I reached out to him when I started seeing this, in other words, that, you know, you could be fired. And I said, man, when I agreed to come here, you were part of the reason why I came here. I want you I want you to be a part of this. And I love you, man. I think you're a great coach. He appreciated those words. And we had a brief conversation. Matt I think he's a great guy. He cares so much. He cares so much about the players. I don't think people realize that. And you can get spoiled with good coaching and good people, and you don't realize it until they're gone. I don't want to be at the point where we realize, damn, we let such a great coach go. Because at one point the players got to, talk about do your job, talk about the coach. The team put up how many points did they score? 27 points in a playoff game. I'm always told if you're on my team and the team puts up 21 points in that game, we should win that game. We should have won that game. We put up 27 points. We missed 6 or 7 on special teams. That's 34 points. So you're talking about you want to get rid of that coach? At some point, players have to be accountable. That's something I'm challenging us as players. We need to take accountability. We need to have accountability of how do we let the game go. Coaching can only do so much. It's about timeouts, X's and O's, and great. But sometimes it's about playing football at the same time. That's from Micah Parsons. So we'll revisit some of this coming up here in just a little bit. He also says it's going to be crazy. I just look forward to putting on a show. There's a lot of aggression that's built up right now, and there's a lot of pain that I feel like I'm suffering that other people need to feel too. Everything is leading up to the return date, and everything's leading up to me getting back on the field. It's going to be all year. When the game gets taken away from you, it's a different level of mindset for people coming back with, I'm ready to see that person and that play. So there you go. That's again from Micah Parsons. Both Micah Parsons and Tucker Kraft, by the way, both say they are well ahead of schedule. Now, again, it doesn't mean a whole lot right now, because we've seen this before where guys are ahead of schedule, they have a setback, and all of a sudden they're not even back until, the mid portion of the season. But nevertheless, let's do this. Gerard's on hold. I want to get to Gerard after the break because we got to take a quick break. So stay tuned. We got a whole lot more of the Bill Michaels Show coming up on this Green and Gold Monday. This portion of it brought to you by our friends at the Social House. Back again this year. Very philanthropic. They made a big donation over to Big Unit Foundation. Don't forget, they've got their Super Bowl coming up where they're going to take a whole day to pick out the best soups. And the registration fees and the entry fees and all that kind of stuff, and your tasting that day, all the proceeds go to Big Unit Foundation. We can't say thanks enough to everything they do at the Social House on West Lisbon Road, Menominee Falls, Brookfield. Fantastic people. Really, really great place. Really good food. TVs everywhere. Stop into the Social House. West Lisbon Road, Menominee Falls, Brookfield. Tell Dan and his staff we said hi, but more so than anything, think about it on Super Bowl Sunday. They've got a soup cook-off over there, and that's going to take place all afternoon and during the game. So stop over to the Social House, West Lisbon Road, Menominee Falls, Brookfield.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket, this is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Well, we all might need a vacation. Someplace to go away, regroup. Put your toes in the water, ass in the sand, margarita in hand, maybe a cigar, who knows? That's our friends at Dream Vacations. Michael and Melissa, they can help you out. You want to go to a resort, you want to take a cruise, maybe you're starting to think about baseball, heading out to Arizona to check out the Milwaukee Brewers. Who knows? Let Melissa and Michael help you plan and book your next amazing getaway. All you got to do is call 414-208-4221, anywhere in the state of Wisconsin. 414-208-4221. 414-208-4221. And Lord knows we might all need a vacation, be perfectly honest with you. So that's for sure, without a doubt. Hey, real quick, over on the text line, I'm going to get to the phone calls coming back here in a second. Out of the 920, he said, hey, Bill, I couldn't agree more with the last caller from Green Bay. I, for one, will not spend another dime at the Packers if they keep LaFleur. Games, merchandise, anything. I've talked to several people since Saturday who feel the exact same way, and I'm a season ticket holder. I'll sell them to Packers fans only. I'll sell them to Packers fans only. Okay. Not giving them up, and I don't blame you, but I'll sell them to Packers fans only. I don't know. I can't defend it. I can't say don't do that. I can only say, hey, see what happens and kind of go from there. But I made myself perfectly clear. I said, look, with the same mistakes over and over again, with the wash, rinse, repeat, clock management, the facing of adversity and looking like a deer in the headlights at times, seeing a team that gets off to a fast start and just can't hold leads. This is a lot of the same old in many different situations with the same result. So this past Saturday was the indicator that flipped me to say, I can't sit here. I can make a lot of, I don't want to say excuses. I can make a lot of arguments, but I can't believe in that anymore. There's been a lot of good early on in Matt LaFleur's career. He's been a good head coach in a lot of different circumstances. But some of the mistakes, you go back to the kicking the field goal against Tampa Bay. You go back to the same problems that they had throughout the season against San Francisco in the postseason. You look at what happened the other night. You look at some of the games that we witnessed this year. You look at some of the statistics we've talked about how this team, when you go back in these 10-point games in the fourth quarter where they're 306-1, except for this year where they went 6-3 and lost 3 games when leading by 10 points or more with 5 minutes to go in a ball game. They figured out ways to lose. You can't forgive that. You can't go, you get it right next year. What makes you believe that they will? 877-867-1670. Our buddy Gerard's up next. Gerard, what's going on, man?
Hey, Bill. Listen, Parsons has only taken one ride on the Titanic. He hasn't been there for the last 5 years. Okay?
Right.
So he could spew all the nonsense he wants and the whole bit. He does not know what's going on there. And he doesn't, he's a very poor judge of coaches if he thinks LaFleur is a great coach or whatever. I guess Bill Luber, Silverstein, Wood, Reichel, I guess Eric and you, all are dummies because we want him out of here, including all that, okay? According to him, okay, he could stick it, as far as I'm concerned, because he doesn't know what's going on here. And as far as LaFleur saying there's no problem with the culture on this team and his presser, he's delusional. The man, look, this man has shown you more red flags than I don't want to get into it, but he's shown you all the red flags, and people are still saying, well, maybe we should give him another chance. Look, if policy brings him back, he's committing suicide. Policy.
Yeah.
Policy's father had stones. He got rid of Walsh and Seifert. Okay? LaFleur is not a pimple on either one of their rear ends. Okay? And as far as Hafley is concerned, this is another LaFleur, non-aggressive guy. I don't care what the stats show. I watch it on TV. I don't care who's playing quarterback. If it was two guys in wheelchairs, I wouldn't be doing that, what Hafley pulled on this team. Okay? He ought to go gone. You know who you got to bring back here? Capinelli. He was the only one that would yell at people and keep people in line. That's the guy you got to bring back here is like a defensive something or another.
Well, that's why I talk about.
Like the other
I got to run here. We're at the top of the hour. You talk about a guy like
Raheem Morris.
Raheem Morris. Thank you very much, Raheem Morris. There's some other defensive minds that are out there. They've talked about that, or at least been rumored about that. But unless Jeff Hafley gets another job, and if Matt LaFleur comes back, so is Jeff Hafley. Let's do this. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. Tucker Kraft speaks. Don't go anywhere on a Green and Gold Monday right after this.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, the Packers reportedly working to keep Matt LaFleur as their head coach. That was a report from ESPN this morning. LaFleur's contract has 1 year left on it. NFL coaches rarely work as lame ducks. LaFleur, 76-40-1 in his career with the Packers, but hasn't won the NFC North since 2021. Made an NFC title game since 2020, and just blew an 18-point second-half lead to the Bears in the playoffs. But many analysts believe the Packers did move on from LaFleur. He would be one of the top head coaching candidates. For his part, LaFleur doesn't want to leave.
Of course. I mean, this is one-on-one. I love this place. I love the people. As much as you guys drive me nuts sometimes, I love you guys. I love our players, the locker room, everybody in our organization. I mean, this is a unique place.
New team president, Ed Policy, is the one that will make the call on LaFleur. Meanwhile, defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley expected to interview for multiple head coaching jobs. LaFleur said he expects him to get one of those. Meanwhile, Wisconsin, they're up to 24 transfer portal additions, includes a pair of quarterbacks in Colton Joseph from Old Dominion and Deuce Adams from Louisville.
Truck drivers, no matter where you want to take your career in 2026, Schneider has an opportunity for you. Our huge selection of driving jobs means you can get the home time that suits your schedule. Choose from daily, weekly, monthly, or sometime in between. Looking for more reliability on the road? Check out our new dedicated and regional van truckload opportunities. Don't miss out. Find your perfect driving job today at SchneiderJobs.com. That's SchneiderJobs.com.
Well, Milwaukee finished out its road trip yesterday with a loss to Denver. They'll now come home to face the Timberwolves tomorrow. And Wisconsin getting back in action tomorrow night as they travel to face Minnesota. Badgers coming off an upset of then unbeaten Michigan in Ann Arbor. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heil for it.
Welcome in. Bill Michaels Show. Thanks so much for being here. We certainly appreciate you hanging out with us on a Green and Gold Monday. Got so much to get to. Still, we got an hour yet to go. Normally in this hour, we would bring in our guy, Mike Clemens, but Mike was in the locker room today, as today is clean out day for a lot of the players. And he caught up with Tucker Kraft and Micah Parsons and a lot of other guys. So you're going to hear some of those conversations instead. And then We'll get Mike on tomorrow or on Wednesday, but nevertheless. So all of that upcoming. We're going to hear from Tucker Kraft coming up here momentarily. Real quick, I want to get to the phones because I don't want to leave him hold throughout the Tucker Kraft conversation. Nick listening to us in Appleton. Nick, how you doing today, man? What's going on? Nick? Okay, Nick is somewhere else. I don't know where Nick went to.
I'm here.
Oh, there you go. Go ahead.
Oh, hi. A lot to say. I just want to mainly say thanks for talking like you have, Bill Michael, so far this morning. It's good to hear somebody that's sick of the same old thing that we've all been seeing and coming out and saying it, because a lot of media people seem to be afraid to say what the fans are thinking because they don't want to break their connections to the organization.
Mm-hmm.
But my opinion is that finishing 7th out of 16 doesn't win prizes, and nobody should consider somebody that's been long as LaFleur finishing right in the middle as great. And we've seen it at Lambeau. And 7th out of 16 doesn't get you home games. It doesn't bring money to Green Bay. You're always on the road throughout the playoffs. We've seen a Bears coach in 1 year become the number 2 team in the NFC, something LaFleur has never done, something that he had. That's what we had before he got here, regularly almost. So good teams win the games that they should win. Packers are not winning the games that they should win. They lose to the teams that they should beat. The good teams never lose the games that they should win, and that's traditionally true. So there is a problem with a coach that can't win the games that he should be winning.
It's I appreciate the phone call. And now going back to what you stated about, being first in the division and this and that with Ben Johnson. When Matt LaFleur got here, he was 13-3 and 13-3, and people said, well, that was Aaron Rodgers. Well, if that's the case, then why didn't Aaron Rodgers lead him to 13-3 the year before that ultimately got Mike McCarthy fired? There is something to be said for coaching, and there is something to be said. You give Matt LaFleur credit for that. You don't throw the baby out with the bathwater in that sense.
I think he made Rodgers better. The division's gotten better, though.
Right.
That's what I'm stuck on.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Completely correct. And the division has gotten better, and things have escalated. And, Brandon says, well, we had Aaron Rodgers. So, Brandon, explain to me why they didn't go 13-3 the year before. I'll wait for your answer.
To me, it's more the Bears and the Lions sucked when he got here.
That too.
I think he did a great job coaching up Aaron Rodgers, just like he's honestly done a great job with Love.
Yep.
I think.
I agree.
But I think the 3 or 4 stinker games this year don't hurt them in their chances to win the division, or they weren't hurting them back then and they are now.
Right.
Because now it takes 12 or 13 games to win the division. And I think Packers fans, that's what they're scared of next year. If Matt LaFleur gets a fully healthy team back, are you going to trip over yourselves a bunch and go into the playoffs still as a 9 seed or a 7 seed and be on the road? That would be my fear.
Exactly. And I don't think he just sucks as a head coach, because people say that. And I'm like, no, that's not true. What has been the fault has been in crunch time and in the face of adversity. It's easy to be a front runner. When you get up in these games and you get big scores and you get big leads, and then you hang on and you get wins, it's a W, and you did a good job. But when you, as a fan, you see it coming. When you see it coming, and here comes the avalanche of crap, big lead or not, and you see it and you feel it, you're like, what are they doing to counteract that? And when you have a coach that says, well, they, did some things, they brought pressure. Okay, great. There's no, hey, they brought pressure, so we did this. Here was our counter. So this is what works. So we like the first drive in the second half, I went, here we go. And that's why I tweeted it out at the time. I'm like, okay, second drive, you've got to put something together. And then they get another 3 and out. It's like, okay, what adjustments did you make? What were you doing with the pads sitting on a cooler or a bench or whatever they were? Because the shot showed him sitting over there studying. So what were you looking at? We saw they brought pressure. We know that it's not nearly the same under pressure. We understand that. So what are you doing to counter that? And that's where Eric Baranczyk says, where was the quick insides? Where was the quick get rid of? Where was the play action? Where was all of this that would counteract a team that's pinning their ears back going, you know what? If you're going to do this, this is what we're going to do. And they didn't change. That's what I think I'm really feeling. It doesn't mean that he's not a good coach. It just means that he didn't make it happen when they needed it to. And then to have the clock mismanagement and the delay of game and the time, it was just a comedy of errors. And then, oh, by the way, we saw it coming all season long. Their special teams. And I'm not even talking about McManus missing the kicks. I'm talking about flipping the field and the two big run backs. Big run backs. Take McManus out of it. I mean, that's McManus. He missed a couple of kicks. Okay. And the one was a far kick and it was windy into that end zone, blah, blah, blah. Okay. That's fine. But the run backs, the coverage team, it's like, yeah, we know it's coming. We see it coming. We're not stupid. And it happens again and again and again. That's when I start to go, okay, you can't sit here and just go, well, I'll give credit to the other team. No, you got to take I was a bad coach. I didn't make the adjustments. And it's not, hey, Matt, do you think you're going to have your job? It should be, hey, Matt, do you think you really deserve a job? Having the same mistakes over and over and over again happen, and we all see they're going to happen. And they have forgot more football than any of us know inside the walls of 1265. And we still can see it coming. You can't tell us the sun's up when we're looking at the moon. And that's where people are. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Let's do this. Tucker Kraft. Mike caught up with him. Mike Clemens was in the locker room just a little while ago. Mike just got out of the locker room, talked to Tucker Kraft, talked to Michael Parsons and others. This is Tucker Kraft talking to Mike Clemens and others.
So the last couple of months been like for you? How would you describe them?
Most people, when they talk about an injury like mine, they talk about it as a setback that they thought was necessary for their career, for their mindset. I disagree. I would say that I felt like I was on the cusp of putting together one of the greatest seasons by Packer tight end, and that was something I was looking forward to, was just leave my legacy on this game and playing as hard as I could every snap for this team. Because at the end of the day, the guys in this room, they mean so much to me. And when I wasn't able to be out there for the last month and a half, 2 months this season, it was really hard on me, because I had to I had to stay at home, and I had to watch us play games, difficult games, wins and losses, and just knowing that if I would have been out there and contributing, maybe things would have gone different. But at the end of the day, this my injury is my reality, and all I can do is work and come back to be a better Packer than I was before.
Some guys talk about missing football so much when they're out. You seem like you didn't need an adjustment to that. You always just loved the game so much. So How did you spend your time processing it, watching it, not participating?
Really just a lot of PT. I was told before the surgery, and it's something Mike is going through right now, like, it is very painful. I don't wish it upon anyone that the first 3 weeks post-surgery, it's just, the ebbs and flows of pain and retreat. And then you come into PT and you try to put a smile on, you're bending a post-surgery joint like crazy, and all the quad work to get your leg back. But it's tough, and that fills up most of your time, is just the recovery aspect of ACL reconstruction. But moving forward, I said that this is something I could have gone without, but it will make me a better person, better athlete, a better teammate. It just has to.
Why do you believe that?
Well, I think from my past experiences with adversity, the way I've responded and have overcome, it's just led me to believe that this won't, and it hasn't had an impact on who I am as a person, how I am as a husband, a teammate, father. So just remaining positive and controlling the controllables.
As far as ACLs go, did they feel like it was clean, and were there any other aspects to it that
no, my ACL, I had a slight meniscus tear. They just went in there and shaved it off. I had some damage to my LCL, but it wasn't anything required surgery. It was just went in there, did my patella graft, took it out, plugged it back in, and that was that.
to see Christian contribute like he has, that's got to be an inspiration for you.
Yeah, absolutely. We had very similar surgery, same surgeon, operation. So seeing that gives me some confidence that he was able to come out. It didn't look like he missed a beat.
You had to hurt after you had to leave. People talk about how much you missed in this offense. That has to also inspire you every day during these long days of rehab, right?
Yeah. I mean, my time off the field was noticed for sure for the first couple of weeks. But using that to my advantage now, knowing what kind of a person I can be for this offense moving forward. I've shown now what I can do with limited opportunities. One of the big parts of our offense, Stanovich say this, like, what do you do when you get the ball? What do you do when you don't have the ball? So just reassuring my coaches and my teammates that, I can be a tremendous threat for opposing defenses given the opportunity. I'm really excited for next year.
Tucker, when you look at this team, not only when you were playing, but when you were just watching from afar as an observer, what's next for this group? I guess, how do you, get over the hump and take those next steps and make those playoff runs and do what you guys want to accomplish?
I mean, I hate to be an excuse guy, but we just need everyone healthy. We had all the pieces, guys coming in off free agency, plugging and playing, and just to see guys take charge of their opportunity. We saw a lot of young guys step up too, a lot of young D linemen. But just seeing the hunger, it reminds me of my rookie year when we brought in a lot of offensive playmakers, and we were 7th seed going into Dallas with the youngest team in the NFL. Not an excuse anymore. You have to wake up that mentality every single day. 365 days a year, you're a national football league or professional athletes. Your body is your own corporation where you're a living, breathing business. So I think each guy has to take it upon themselves, hold themselves accountable to coming back and being their most spectacular self, because we're going to need it. I mean, obviously, we'll come up short again every year I've been here. So I have less words this go around just because, I didn't necessarily feel like I contributed full season lengthwise, but I was missing it.
Tucker, do you have an expectation for when you expect him back to your
I'm not sure exactly how much of that information I can divulge, but I can tell you it'll be more like my going into year 2. When I was coming off that torn pec, went into camp, started on the pup. That's probably how it'll be this year too. My timeline, I'm not in a race or anything like that. It happened, and by the time week 1 rolls around, I'll be 10 months post surgery, and hopefully bulletproofed by then. So I already feel pretty good. My progress so far has been great. Some would say even ahead of schedule. So not trying to blow anything out of proportion. I'm not even 10 weeks in yet, but it's feeling good so far. Everything's going great. I'm in good hands here.
Are you going to be rehabbing in Green Bay all off season?
Yeah, mostly Green Bay. I'll seek some treatment elsewhere, somewhere warmer, more sunlight, just to change the scenery, because I was drafted here and I've pretty much been living here full time since my rookie year, for the exception of a couple vacations. But yeah, I'm eager to get out now that I've been on a rehab table for the last 9 weeks, and there's excitement in this offseason for myself and my recovery.
You played your whole career for Matt. There's a lot of talk right now about his future. Just what's it been like playing for him, and do you think he's the guy who can take you all over them?
Well, I don't think there's anyone else how complex of an offense that we run. Well, first I'll start off with Matt. Matt's been nothing but generous to me, my wife, and my family since we've been here. I mean, constant communication with me ever since I was a rookie. He's just trying to get the best out of each and every one of his players. And he comes in with the right mentality every single day to coach us up to be the best version of ourselves for the best legacy team in the NFL. I don't think there's another coach that could come in and do it as well as he does it, especially with the complexities that are in this offense. When you get players that get into year 3 in this offensive tree, the offensive knowledge that we had retained year after year. It's only getting better here. I think Matt's an outstanding head coach. There's no doubt in my mind that he'll remain here as a Packer. I think a lot of that talk is pretty silly, but yeah.
Talking maybe, I apologize if you were asked this already, but considering all the work that it took to get to where you got to, not just last offseason, but your life, how much did it kill you when you went down, considering how good you were playing?
Yeah, that was tough for me just because it felt like things were really slowed down. It just wasn't, I wasn't feeling that stress or anxiety, mainly just excitement. I was hungry for every snap, every opportunity I could get. And that's gonna be the same thing going forward. I'm not gonna really, I don't know entirely what my future holds in this offense, but I'm going to continue to play each play like it could be the play, as many snaps as I can get, whether that's 40 or 65. I don't ever want to come out of this game again.
Matt said we'd be crazy not to run our offense through Tucker after that Pittsburgh game. Then the next week is when the injury. How'd you deal with that mentally?
I'd say the greatest thing throughout the years, I was able to prove time and time again what I could do with, 3 catches, 4 catches, 5 catches, showing like in that Pittsburgh game, I had 140 something yards. Well, like 90% of that came from the yards after the catch. So now coming off my injury, putting myself in position to get better at things, like I was really feeling my man separation coming along, getting the same reps and not making the same mistakes, but continuing to improve upon each opportunity. So that moving forward, I do feel like as a tight end, I am the full package, and that I can be anything for this team. Just put the ball in my hands.
So you're thinking 7, 8, 9 targets per game instead of 3, 4, 5?
I think I could take a lot of pressure off everybody else if that were the case. I just find the end zone.
You refer to this as a legacy team in the NFL. How do you not be a first-round exit team in the NFL? And I'm not saying that you should speak to this.
No, that's 100%. That's something I talked about last year too. Is I think some people may have gotten into a clinch mentality, where like last year we dropped 2 games right before the playoffs. This year we dropped 2 games right before the playoffs, and it's different because we were able to rest people in the Vikings game. So I'm not gonna put that on anyone. And we came out swinging. We looked fresh in the first half of that Bears game, but obviously we just have to wake up in the appreciation when we get into the playoffs, knowing that, it is 0-0, but now is the time to play our best football. There's no waiting around, to turn it on when the playoffs come around. We have to have that mentality to go through trying to be 17-0.
You lost your best player on offense and your best player on defense. Do you think you guys are playing in the Super Bowl or damn close to it if the 2 of you are?
Well, if I'm betting on myself, I'm going all in. So one of the best players in the NFL on defense, Micah Parsons, yes, I do think that things would be completely different had we not lost him in the Broncos game. I'm not even going to speak for myself because we lost so many weapons. Allen Jenkins, Devontae Wyatt, excuse after excuse, you could say, but this team, we had so many weapons dialed up, loaded up, and we lost them. So just call a spade a spade.
There you go. That's Tucker Kraft talking to the media just a little while ago. Let's do this. We'll step out. We'll take a quick break. Stay tuned. We got a whole lot more to get to, more to hear. Micah Parsons spoke today as well. 2 guys that are rehabbing injuries and hoping to be back sooner rather than later when it comes to the Green Bay Packers going into next season. So stay right where you're at. You're going to hear that upcoming here at the bottom of the hour as well. Got a whole lot more of the Bill Michaels Show on this Green and Gold Monday, brought to you by our good friends over there at J&L Tire and Service Center. Hey, if you get a chance, and Lyle's around out there, right there at the Johnson Creek exit, J&L Tire, go in and see how he's doing. He's been a little under the weather. He's got an autoimmune thing going on, and he's been up and down for quite some time now. We wish him nothing but the best and a very speedy recovery. And he's in one day, then out the next, and in one day. And man, he's kind of the backbone of that place. He's just so tremendous. And whether it's working on, your minivan and changing oil, or doing some major repair all the way up for your 18-wheeler. They've got the facilities for everything, and are also voted the best tire dealer that's out there, trustworthy service, you name it. They've got it all. J&L Tire and Service Center on Boulder Road in Watertown, but right there, the Johnson Creek exit right off of 94. It's just north of 94. You can see it from the highway, as a matter of fact. JNLTire.com. That is JNLTire.com.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Bill Michaels Show. On this kind of a manic Monday, for lack of a better term. Disappointed house at DJ's Goalpost over the weekend. Man, did they have a crowd. Holy moly. Big crowd at DJ's Goalpost. That's on Appleton Avenue in Albany Falls. They had a packed house. Only to see the Green Bay Packers falter on Saturday night. But they had a great crowd out there. They always get a big crowd. It's a fun place to go with a ton of memorabilia. Don's a great guy. They've got the golf simulators out there as well next door. And good food and a great place to gather. And whether you're going to watch the Packers or the Badgers or sports in general, you name it, if you're going to head out there tonight, maybe see, Aaron Rodgers either continue his career or maybe the last game of his career, whatever it happens to be. DJ's Goalpost, Appleton Avenue in Menominee Falls. Really, really good stuff. This was from Jason. Jason says, he said, I just saw on the Frozen Tundra Faithful site that the Packers have gotten rid of Brandon McManus. Is this true? No, it's not. No, that's one of those garbage sites that posts headlines so you'll click on it. It's a garbage site. If you see it, block it. They post these headlines like it's true, and it's not. They're not. No, it's not true. Could they eventually? They could probably get rid of them, but nobody got rid of anybody the day after the season or 2 days after the season ends. They don't. First of all, you don't do it. You don't start making cuts until going into your new year. But no, it's a garbage site. Garbage. And it's called Frozen Tundra Faithful. I appreciate that you sent it to me, but no, it's one of these sites that's, run by somebody with no pants on in their basement going, oh, let's post this and we'll see how many clicks we can get. And then when they get the clicks, then you understand the reason why they're not wearing pants. So no, I wouldn't give them any credence at all. Who's this from? This is from Anthony. Anthony says, I couldn't agree more with many of the fans that are calling for LaFleur's head. However, if LaFleur does come back, I can't imagine it's going to be with the same coaching staff. What are your thoughts if he makes changes? Well, look, there's going to be different players. There's going to be different coaches. I can't imagine Rich Bisaccia is back. We'll wait and see what happens with Jeff Hafley. The offensive coordinator, Adam Stenovich. Is Butkus going to be back with all the changes and issues they had up front? Because, when you talk about this, think about it this way. When you throw your offensive line kind of under the bus that, hey, we didn't slide out on pressures against the Chicago Bears. Is that coaching? Is that you? Is that Stenovich? Is that Butkus? Who's responsible for guys recognizing and the technique and ability to be able to slide out and block pressures? Or is it just a play caller in general? Who's responsible for that? So we'll see. I got to think with the season that they had. And by the way, I don't throw the strength and conditioning staff under the bus in any of this either. ACLs, ankles, broken bones, stuff like that. That's just part of doing business. If you got a bunch of like a whole boatload of hamstring injuries, then you kind of look at what you're doing in strength and conditioning. Okay. Some of these things, no, you can't help snapping ACLs and breaking bones. You can do everything you can to build them up and strengthen things, but that's just, I hate to say that's part of doing business, but it is. I'm not throwing everybody on the strength and conditioning. You're looking to make changes as if every change you make is going to be great. And sometimes you just need to, part of the reason there's been a steady, pool, if you want to call it success, of continuity is because of continuity. You don't change every year. You don't do that. You don't want to be Chicago, who went through so many coaches over so much period of time. You don't want to be Atlanta. You don't want to be all these teams that have knee-jerk reactions. Look at what's gone on with New York and the Jets. You don't want to continually change coaches, continually change staffs, because you got to give guys time to settle in. Now, if you make a bad move, okay, if you stick with continuity, you're going to be bad for a couple of years. You have to understand that. But the reason they've had success is because of continuity, and the one thing that you at least have, Packers fans, over Chicago and Detroit and Minnesota for such a sustained period of time is because you've kept continuity. You've let things work out. And that's why you're glad you don't have a knee-jerk owner, But in this case, you've had 7 years of this where you've seen what to expect. And that's the reason Packers fans put palm to forehead after that first series in the second half didn't go your way. It's like, here we go. Here we go. You just see it coming like an avalanche down the hill, and you can't stop it. It's not a snowball. It's an avalanche, and you just couldn't stop it. So, but part of the reason they've had sustained success is because of the continuity. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Hit us up. We'd love to hear from you. When we come back, you are going to hear Micah Parsons. First time in a long time we've heard from Micah Parsons. So you're going to hear Micah Parsons when we return, so don't go anywhere. This portion of the program, by the way, this time of year, it's Norway Mountain. If you're thinking about doing a little skiing, going up into the UP, who knows? Maybe you run into to Harbaugh up there. But if you're thinking about it, Norway Mountain, Norway Mountain, right? Just east of Iron Mountain, Michigan. They've got tons of runs up there when it comes to the ski hill. Go to norwaymt.com. That's norwaymt.com. Call them and tell them we sent you. 906-970-2040. 906-970-2040. That's Norway Mountain, norwaymt.com, just east of Iron Mountain, Michigan. It's a one-tank trip. Go up there, do a little skiing. You will not be disappointed.
Ready? This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Can you feel it? It's the thrill of witnessing a walk-off grand slam, a game-winning touchdown, a buzzer-beating 3. Yeah, you know the feeling. And there's only one place to experience that raw exhilaration. Potawatomi Sportsbook. Catch all the action in a supreme space with dozens of sports betting kiosks, cool drinks, luxe seating, great food, fiery atmosphere, and a monster video wall. Become a legend at Potawatomi Sportsbook. More info online. You must be 21 to enter casino.
Down goes hunger. Down goes hunger. That's the call when you take your first bite at Home Field Pub and Social. With a chef-driven food roster that's stacked with flavor. From starting lineup appetizers to all-star plates and sandwiches to Hall of Fame desserts. It's all worthy of a highlight reel. Because this isn't your basic game day fare. This is crave-worthy food with enough flavor to make your taste buds do a touchdown dance. And if you're ready to play, step into the Topgolf Swing Suite and take your shot at glory. Swing, sip, and snack your way through every clutch moment. So the next time someone asks where you were when hunger lost the title match, you say Home Field Pub and Social, where it's game day every day. In the heart of Titletown, right next to Lambeau Field.
Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back in on a Green and Gold Monday. The Bill Michaels Show continues on. Thanks for hanging out with us. We certainly appreciate you being here. Micah Parsons. He sat down and chatted with the media in Green Bay just a little while ago, and I want you to take a listen. It's kind of long, but I want you to take a listen to Micah Parsons talking to the media.
How has rehab recovery gone so far when you're aiming to get back on the field?
Sometime in September, I want to be just at a good, really good spot. I think so far, they say I'm flying, so whatever that means. But there's a timing standpoint they want. But I don't think I'll be on IR. I'll say that to start the season. I think, I think lofty. I'll be saying week 1, but realistically, probably like week 3, week 4, just to make sure and just getting back into this like football, just practicing hard and getting ready to sustain, taking my body through what I go through. So I think it's just more of that. Like I play so free and go and with chips, and I got to learn how to simulate that in practice before they just send me out there on the field. So I think it's more of that. So I just feel like myself.
What does a day-to-day look for you like right now during the first couple weeks of this?
Man, I wake up, I wake up, come here, rehab for 4 hours, go home, rehab on my own, and I just sit around all day, play a lot of video games, and probably do push-ups with my kids in my hands, stay strong, and that's pretty much it.
Where are you going from here? Will you work rehab somewhere? Going down to Dallas, or are you going?
Yeah, I'll be rehabbing here for a little bit. I'll be here for another like 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks, and then I'll be going down to Dallas, and then I'll be seeing Dr. Ruth in Florida for a little bit. So I got a good plan with the staff and everybody, and I'm excited about where I'm going to be at when time the season comes. Dr. Ruth. Yeah.
Have you worked with him before?
Yeah. And I know guys that work with him, and they do a real good job, especially when it comes to ACL repair.
Yeah, Stephon Diggs.
Micah, what's been the range of emotions just like the last month, right? Like you guys were in a position to really make a push for the top seed in the NFC, and then your injury, and how are you dealing with it and everything else?
It's definitely frustrating. This injury has put me at the top of humility. And I think for most of my life, I felt invincible, never really sustaining a major injury before. And, I kind of lived my life like that, and I played like that until I wasn't invincible anymore. And you go to a real share of appreciation. I never cheated the game, but, I saw a video and I told the guys today, life has a funny way of showing you suffering, and you got to be willing to accept the good with the bad. And God let me maximize this season. I was more hurt because I knew how many people I was letting down when I got hurt. and where I wanted to go, especially with the trade. But, I think he put me in a position where I could see things from a different lenses, from my family, from my teammates, how I need to approach the game, bring people along with me, and challenge myself in different aspects. I asked for strength, and he gave me this position to make me stronger. That's how God works. I asked for courage, and every day I have to build courage to fight through this injury and push myself in different ways of the pain, accepting the pain, accepting reality like I've put out there. And, I know he don't put fear in us. He puts love, discipline, and that's kind of what I've been accepting and realizing. And it's been making me a better person from it. So I'm appreciative where I'm at right now. Surgery's going good. The knee feels good. So I'm excited to where I'm going to be at when this is all said and done.
Mike, did you ever go back and watch that play when it happened?
Yeah, I watched it a bunch.
Did you know right away, though?
Yeah, something wasn't right. Yeah, I knew right away. It wasn't a doubt in my mind. I knew right away.
How shocked was it when you were sitting there and you're like, oh, God,
I think, at first, I got up and I walked off and I was like, oh, no, I'll be okay. And, when I was in, Doc was checking me out, I was like, Doc, anything but the ACL. Make it the MCL, so just anything but the ACL. He's like, I don't feel it as good. And, I just broke down in emotions. It's hard because I'm not a very vulnerable person, and during this period, I've probably been the most vulnerable I've been in the last probably my whole life. Telling people how much I need them, and I appreciate them being there for me. Because to be honest, man, you can't go through this injury by yourself. You have to have, I can't even put my own drawers on, man. I can't shower by myself. I can't even get off the bed by myself. So I couldn't imagine being alone. So I'm so appreciative for my family for being there for me.
You mentioned how are you feeling about where the team stood heading into that Denver game? Just beat Chicago, had the Nations League. How are you feeling about prospects?
We're good. We was up 13 points in the game. We were playing good ball. Unfortunately, things happen. There was no point in the season where I felt like we weren't a championship caliber team. At no point in the year.
Even after your injury?
Even after my injury. We're winning most of those games. We let some get away. This is a good football team, and one thing I just challenge the guys is I wasn't here before. I don't know what it looked like before, so I can't really speak on before. But I told guys, get ready to embrace this mentality and do more than what your job's required. Because we got to get ready to fight deep water. This ain't a test. And you look at the matches, the games we have for next year, and it's another tough year of teams that we getting ready to face. So there's a lot of reality checks that us as players need. Yeah, I think, as fans and people, I see the same things you guys see. People don't look at the play calling, and people don't look at that. But I'm looking at the effort of the guys. I'm looking at, how guys are playing. Are we blocking? Are we getting off blocks? Are we attacking? Those are the things that us players we can control. And I think more people need to realize that. We could, you can do your job in the league. If someone says, hey, contain the edge, you can just sit outside and make sure no one gets outside, or you're going to get off the block and make a play. So sometimes it's not about what position the coach puts you in. It's about what position you put yourself in. And that's type of reality that, and mindset that I want to bring to this team.
Along those lines, the big question for this team right now is whether or not Matt is the right coach to get you guys to the Super Bowl. I don't think it's anybody for anything less than that. Is he the right coach to make that run?
Yeah, I believe so. I've had my fair share of coaches and people around this league that I've been around. And Matt's one of the best guys and people, like as a person. I've been around since I've been in this league. I reached out to him when I started seeing this, and I said, man, when I agreed to come here, like, you were part of the reason why I came here. I want you a part of this, and, I love you, and, I think you're a great coach, and, he appreciated those words, and we had a brief conversation, but Matt is, I think he's a great guy, and I just think he cares so much. Like, he cares so much about the players. Like, I don't think people realize that. Like, and you could get spoiled with good coaching and good people, and you don't realize until they're gone. And I don't want to be at that point where we realize, like, damn, we let such a great coach go. Because at one point, the players that, like, like, you talk about do your job, right? You talk about coach. I mean, the team put up, how many points they scored? 27 points. The playoff game, I always told you, if my team puts up 21 points, we should win that game. Put up 27 points and we missed 6-7 on special teams. That's a 34 points. And you're talking about you want to get rid of a coach. At one point, players have to have accountability. And that's something that, I'm challenging us, and that's players that we need to take. We need to have accountability. How do we let that game go? Like, coaching can only do so much. It's about timeouts and X's and O's, great. But sometimes it's about playing football at the same time.
Did you hear Hafley's comments that you're going to come back and break the sack record?
Yeah, he told me that. He's put a lot of pressure on me, but I'm not scared of those challenges either. So I'm coming. I had a little fun with Miles. He talked about he gonna put the trophy, the Defensive Player of the Year trophy, in the training room so we can look at it. And I said, you know what, man? I said, don't worry. The sun sets, the light's bright, but the sun always sets too. So we coming. It's always great that you got a coach like that. Me and Half has a great relationship, and I can't wait. He's another guy I can't wait to have another year with.
You afraid to lose him though? You might become a head coach.
No, Half ain't going nowhere.
You don't strike me as the kind of guy who needs motivation, but when someone says 24 sacks, does that give you a little extra?
Not really. I know he's going to do everything he can this offseason to put me in the best position. I know he's a mastermind when it comes to moving me around, and we did a lot of great things this year. And I think we just saw it as a glimpse, and we're going to keep getting better, and we're going to bring some guys in and keep some guys to help us go on that run next year.
You mentioned the day-to-day routine with your rehab.
Yeah.
How challenging physically is that rehab that you're currently working through?
Oh, super challenging. I wouldn't wish this on anyone. I don't think people realize, how much the knee is. It's the most, challenging thing that I think I've ever faced as a human. When we talk about pain, can't sleep, can't move around, you can't turn over without your leg going to damn near, you jumping out your sleep. I can't remember the last time I slept through the night. My body's tired, my mind's tired. I'm exhausted, man. But it's going to be worth it once I'm be able to move and play again.
Did you feel any previous plays? Could you sense anything that was wrong with you?
No.
It just happens.
It just happened. I played out my body. And that's a good thing. Guys, you damn we all know the risk. That's the risk we take. I'm playing so hard that I snapped my knee, pretty much, in a sense. I was moving faster than my body could handle.
Let's do this. We'll step out. We'll get a few more minutes of Micah Parsons when we return, but some interesting stuff coming from the Packers defensive leader. Stay tuned. We got more of the Bill Michaels Show on a Green and Gold Monday, our final Green and Gold Monday of the season, coming up next.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
For 4 years. That's enough time to earn a college degree, to serve a full term as a president, to train for something big, and become someone new.
You bet, and get 0% interest for 4 years at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, so you can invest in your home and in life's biggest moments. With exclusive features and customizations, Pella offers the highest quality products at a price you can afford.
Aim high when setting your New Year's resolution, and imagine what you can do in 4 years when you finance your home project with Pella. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Final segment of the Green Gold Monday. Bill Michaels Show. I want to pick up where we left off a couple more minutes to take a listen to Michael Parsons of the Green Bay Packers, and then we'll close things out. Here's Michael Parsons.
Michael, when it comes to the trade at the beginning of the season, Packers fans embraced you. You have that moment where you run on the Lambeau Field. Since that moment to right now, how much have you felt the love from Packers fans?
Oh my gosh, I couldn't tell you. I couldn't have made a better decision when you come picking an organization to come to. The fans have been so amazing, so sweet. I see the messages that they send me, the prayers that they send me. People offer me their knees and all types of stuff. The love and support from the fans have been so amazing, and they're kind of the motivation that you need when you them hard days. Like, I've had some hard days, and I'm probably going to go have another hard day in that training room. And when you see those messages and that support and that love and there's people asking you how you are and how they're rooting for you. Those type of things that kind of keep you going. So I encourage more support, more love, more aspiration. You know, you need it, man. Like, I think we all need it as humans. Even if you're not going through something, man, sometimes I just say, man, king or queen, how are you? You have a great day today. And whatever your 1% is, gain your 1%. I think as humans, we have to be better, you know, not just when things happen or things we send prayers when bad things happen. Well, let's send prayers when good things happen. That's all a part of accepting the good with the bad in life, right?
So if you're a first team all pro playing 14 games, what's possible if you play a full season next year?
I expect the same results. I don't expect a drop off, man. I'm gonna work so hard. I think I'll be better than when I started with.
I know you expect halfway to be back, but if he's not, he's got 5 head coaching interviews to get one. How would you approach that process? Would you want to say and who the next defensive coordinator is?
You know, I wouldn't say I want to say. I would just say, you know, I've been around some good DCs between Darren, Zim, and Half. So I've been blessed in my career. I just say bring someone that cares about the players. You know, I just want someone that the players can relate to and that we want to risk it all for. You know, we're in battle together. Whether you up in the booth and you leading the charge or whether you're on the field leading the charge, we all together. So I just want to be in battle with someone who wants to go to battle with us.
There you go. That's Micah Parsons, and kind of getting ready for off season, so to speak. His thoughts, LaFleur, his thoughts about coming, his thoughts about how soon he may or may not be back. Just kind of a lot to gather, but we'll leave you on that. It's been a hell of the show's not dead, don't get me wrong, but it's been a hell of a football season, and we've had a great time, and we're going to talk a lot more Packers, don't get me wrong, but as far as the season goes in a Green and Gold Monday, yeah, that's coming to an end, unfortunately. But
I do need to keep coming to work.
We do. Oh. We do. You know why? Because we are not that far away from heading off to Super Bowl. We leave on the 31st of this month, and then our Super Bowl live from the Media Center broadcast begins on February 2nd through the 6th, brought to you by our friends at Schneider and the Big Orange Hotline and the Big Orange Studio on the road. Looking forward to that, but we'll be back at it again tomorrow. Until we talk again 20 hours from now. We'll live to fight another day, Packers fans. Hang